See if we can get them on here or not. We'll give about 1 more minute, let people come in real quick. Hey, do me a favor, guys. If you could remove yourself from requesting, it's only letting a couple of people request at a time. I'm trying to get Max up here. Appreciate it. We'll do a couple questions afterwards, but for now, I just blocked up with people requesting. I can't get them up here. Yeah, if you guys could not request for a minute so I could get Max up here, and you guys can request afterwards. We'll do a few questions. Just if you could bring yourself down so I could get him up here, that'd be great. Yeah, not letting him come out there. There's too many people in the group. I can't even search for him on here. So, anyways, we'll just get started about him. He'll be a listener. Maybe he just dodged a bullet here. Can't get him up here. Let me see what he says here. Yep. Sorry, Max. Can't bring it up. I try to search for it. Too many people in the room. Okay. Oh well. Anyways, so we wanted to come on here real quick and just give you guys a brief little update. I was going to have Max give you guys some of the technical side about what he's been working on, what they've been doing over the weekend. So they spent basically the last week or more specifically over the weekend, on testnet, testing out swap features, creating the pairings that you guys probably saw on decks, and doing everything they need to do for the swap function. So they're going to take in today to run final checks. This evening, we're going to be injecting liquidity and migrating everything from testnet over to the actual Saitama platform. And doing whatever else. Actually, it's not just a simple switch to flip, right? You got to do it in incremental phases. So, ran all the final checks and stuff over the weekend. So we'll start this evening, start injecting liquidity and doing everything that they need to do to make it fully functional. So with that in mind, they'll take it tonight instead of rushing it out and getting it out, at 4 a.m. like last time we did when we opened up the swap the last time. They'll do it tonight, kind of inject liquidity slowly through the evening and through the morning. So tomorrow afternoon, the swap function, well, afternoon, evening. We'll shoot for the afternoon or early evening and see what happens. So it'd be tomorrow evening, be fully functional. So the state of realty will have to be on Wednesday at 5 o'clock and not tomorrow because we don't want to have it back to back. We want to be able to have a little bit of a at least 24 hours so you guys can check it out and do all that. So, yeah, so we'll have to do it Wednesday by Tuesday, but I think it makes the most sense to do that. So we're going to inject all the liquidity this evening and taking it off the test net and rerouting some of the routers and making it official. So I just wanted to come and give you guys that kind of update and let you all know. So see if we can get Max to do some of his questions, but we can't get him on here. So everything that they did, all the tests and everything went good this weekend. So there's no issues. It's just a matter now of taking it off testnet and putting in swap function on the platform and putting all the liquidity in place. All the pairings that we already have are created. The smart contract for Say Realty spent the weekend testing it. Everything looks good, no issues there. So we'll do an AMA tomorrow, or no, it's Wednesday. So I was going to do an AMA with Scott Herman today, but we're going to do it on Wednesday at noon. So we'll have the launch goes live on Wednesday, 5 Eastern time. So I'll do an AMA with him on Wednesday at noon, just to kind of give you guys a little bit more details. I know we talked about it before, but some of those features that we'll have on there is the 5% price impact. So it'll be a fair launch. People can get in there and buy it a fair launch at that time. We're not going to be releasing the smart contract address much earlier. We'll put it out probably on the website and on our social medias probably like an hour or so before, but not like a significant amount of time ahead of time. We don't want to create any issues. We put the contract address out. It just makes things difficult, and people that try to do things maliciously with bot activity and stuff gives them an opportunity to, even though we've already put mitigations in place to, you know, to stop that. We don't want to make it any opportunity for anybody to do that. So that's what we'll do. So we'll have the 5% price impact upon launch. There's also going to be a cool down period, so people can go and make multiple transactions within the first 30 seconds. So it's about as fair as you could possibly get. But the smart contract itself looks good. They're going to continue to test it, do a few swap features with it over the next 48 hours. It'll look to go live Wednesday at 5 Eastern. And we'll do, like I said, we'll inject liquidity and all that stuff for the Saitama to Saitama swap feature this evening and roll it out into tomorrow. And then, later afternoon, early evening, it should be 100%. And you guys can, mess around with it and do whatever you want to do prior to the Say the Realty launch at 5 p.m. the following day. So anyhow, so there goes. We're trying to get it out today, but and we could. I think there was some issues with the router, and I was going to have Max come in and talk to you guys about that, but we would have had to shut it down later on for a little bit of maintenance. So we might as well fix the router issue now since it's already shut down, instead of having a maintenance break a week from now to deal with it. So yeah. So that's kind of it. We just wanted to make you aware for everybody. Just give you guys a brief little update. We could do a couple questions, I guess, while we're on here. Let's see. Let me give one last shot. Let me see if I can find Max so he can give you guys a better answer on some of the stuff.
Hey, Russ.
Did you find him?
No. People are telling me right now that if after 1,000 people join, we won't be able to see him. So I actually can't find him anywhere.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's kind of what I figured. I got a notification too saying something about 1,000 people on here. So, anyways, so yeah, we'll do a couple questions. I'll just go down the list in no particular order. Let's see here. Not Hashbula. We'll try to get a couple other new people. Let me see here. There we go, man. Oh, maybe it went someone else. Oh, there you go. Oh no, it went someone else. Sex Burger.
Right, how's it going, Russ? Not much. Appreciate everything you're doing, everything the team has been doing so far. I have to say we're on track, and patiently we wait, man. It's been a waiting game. We have some downfalls, but we got to stick together, not only as family, community, but overall, I have to say as a Wolfpack.
No, yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm not too worried about it. We have some delays in tech and that kind of thing. It happens, right? I'm not overly concerned about it. I know a lot of people, especially on social media, they want to FUD and say, "Oh, Saitama's not delivering. We got all these delays, and it's one thing after another, and over promising, under delivering." Like, people got to understand, like, the tech that we're putting out there is not, it's not a simple 2D game that we can release. There's a lot of things that go involved with it, and the way that Max and team have put everything together is specifically for everybody's security. So if there's even a slightest bit of an issue that they think might be a problem, they fix it. Instead of just rolling the dice like, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, or maybe this will be an issue, maybe it won't. No, like, I'm trying to take any kind of possibility or scenario out and then just fixing it right off the bat. So yeah, so I mean they're doing, that's what they've been doing for the last several weeks. So and talking to the engineering team this morning, they're going to roll it out. And I think if you guys were around last time, they injected liquidity, and it was a little bit of a process. Like, each token that we had on there, the 6 of them, each one took about an hour or so to inject liquidity and to run the tests on. So instead of keeping these guys up till 5 a.m. tonight doing it, like, they'll inject liquidity, run a few tests, do that stuff this evening, and just take their time with it and do it precisely and do it the right way. That way it's ready for everybody tomorrow. So they can mess around with it tomorrow and then go live with the coin, the State of Realty coin, on Wednesday. So, I mean, I would much rather push back a couple hours and have any kind of issues, especially on a very, highly anticipated launch such as this. So.
One last thing, Russ, and I don't want to take up much of your time. I know you're a busy man. Patiently waited. We partied together in Vegas. I have to say the journey's amazing, and whatever, we're in the trenches, Russ. Just know that we will not stop.
Yeah, no, actually, and this is, I mean, this is a very, very long-term project. I know a lot of things in crypto is like right now, right here, right now, but we're looking, years down the road, and the partnerships and the things that we're making and the platform that we're putting together. It's not a short-term, quick pump and dump scheme. Like, Saitama's never been a pump and dump ever. Like, and people try to use that, right, and manipulate the prices, whatever. And that's fine. But we're here long term, and the stuff that we're putting on, and the relationships we're making along the way, it's a very long term project. So 12 hours or whatever is not that big a deal when you're looking at a project that's going to be continuing to grow over the next several years. So, anyways, yeah, I appreciate it, man. Let's see who else we got here. Saitama Inu Africa. Yeah, let's see if I can get it. There you go, Ben. As soon as you get connected here, you can ask your question. Go ahead, man. You got a question? What's up, brother? No? Okay. We'll come back to you. Saitama Lupo. Go ahead, man. Saitama Lupo. I think you can talk now. Just gotta push a button.
Did you say Saitama Lupo?
Yeah, that's
Oh
you.
my God, Russ. Thank you to choose me. Nothing. I mean, what I was trying to say, I'm so happy for you for what you guys doing. I'm very patient. Actually, I used to be super impatient person, and I used to get very nervous really quickly. You taught me, you guys taught me how to be patient and understand and trust the process and trust you. Because like I said before, a couple of days ago to Crypto Alert, you guys are angels. You guys do all this work for us to make us have a better life and make us united like a real wolf pack. And I'm so happy that I can speak with you.
No, I appreciate it, man. And people have a hard time understanding too. Like, everything that we do in this platform, it's for everybody else. Like, it's not just for us; it's for you guys. Everything that we do is for the holders. It what makes sense for the
And
holders,
you guys
not
create
for
this
six
beautiful
of us.
community. Look at us.
Everybody.
We're all together and Monday afternoon talking and discussed it. The only complaint that I have, the YouTuber people, oh my God, though. When the we were going super good, everything was fine. The whole time eyes they were talking about your project and our project, whatever you want to say. They were talking about so beautifully and so amazing. Oh, so Russ here, Russ there, the devs, the community. Now that we are in this like pause, I would say, this, of course,
Yeah.
you have to pause sometimes
Yeah. No,
to move on, right?
I see
You
it.
cannot just go on,
Yeah,
on, on. They're talking
yeah,
about
I
stuff
see
that I
some
don't
of
like,
these.
and you make them successful. That's the funny thing that really pissed me off.
Yeah. No, I see it. I don't pay any attention to it. Like that people try to FUD on YouTube and create content. And really, all they're just trying to use the Saitama name to get some clout and some subscribers and clickbait and all that crap. But realistically, tomorrow when we open up the swap and we get things, like, what are they gonna make videos? I'm sure they'll find something else to make
Yeah.
videos on, and it'll make just as big a difference as it does now. Very
Yeah.
little to none. But it's funny. Like if you say, oh, people just spend all this time making content that's negative towards Saitama. It's like if you just spent half that much time in making something that's more positive, and not
Yeah.
even about Saitama, just something positive,
Yeah.
you probably get a much more anticipated, effect on your
Yeah,
content. But I'm not
go do
a
some
YouTube
go do
creator.
some
People do
charity,
whatever
help
they do.
your community. That's what they're supposed to do instead of get back. That's what I do when I feel a little bit stressed out and I don't watch those YouTubers anymore because I mean into Saitama from like almost the beginning, I was say mid of July, and it kind of saved my life in some way. I was down like a lot of money doing day trading and that stuff, and then I said, you know what, this doesn't work. This too cheap, Bitcoin, Ethereum, it doesn't work for me. And I discovered Saitama and I fell in love from day one. And I said, okay, I put my money there and I believe in the project. I didn't know much about you and the future of Saitama. I just believed it and I still believe it. And when I'm stressed out and I'm nervous, I just go do some charity and just go out my neighborhood. I volunteer for something. I do a lot of volunteer in my block, in my neighborhood. I go clean up the street if I have to. Actually I do. Anyway, so
Well, awesome, man. We appreciate the support as always. So
yeah,
keep up,
I
keep the
cannot
good
wait
fight,
to
man.
meet you in Florida this summer.
Yeah, we'll be there, man. It'll be a good time. It'll be a good
Thank
time.
you.
I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for everything you do, man. Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Anime, let's get you up, man. I know you're a big advocate for Saitama. He's out there spreading the good word. Let's get you up here, man. What's up?
What's up, guys? I just want to say congratulations to the entire Saitama team. I'm forever grateful for what you guys are doing. It's been one hell of a ride. Congratulations to the entire community who's got through all the ups and downs and is still holding. And guys, we're gonna make it, man. And I'm just appreciate it. Seriously, good job, Russ. Good job, Max. Good job, Elon. Nam, everybody, the community, keep up the good work. Let's keep pushing. Work together. We're stronger together than apart.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you guys' support as always. And I just want to reiterate, even this weekend we were down in down for the fight in Vegas. Just the connections that we make, and it's just amazing. Aaron showed that picture of Khabib and Islam after the fight. Like we went to dinner after the fight and we were talking business. There was a whole room full of people that were interested in Saitama and what we were trying to do. And he shared that picture on there, and immediately like people were fighting like win swap. That's great, but win swap. You guys have to understand how business works. Like the swap, like myself as the chief operating officer and Aaron doing marketing, Max is CTO, right? He handles the swap function, he does all of our technical stuff. So, and Gabe and everybody else, we all have our own pivotal role to play in this creation and how we're building this token in this company. And that connection in itself, and I'll remind you guys also, like that's all self-funded, right? Like we paid for that whole trip. We paid for all the stuff that we do out of pocket, right? So we do that to create opportunities and partnerships for Saitama moving forward. That's going to be hugely beneficial to this company in the years to come. Like not just for one event, not for this weekend or next weekend, but I have to understand, like Islam will be the next world champ, and he is 100% partnered with Saitama to make this thing move. And all the other people in this group all had the same mindset, right? Not just to promote the coin or like talk about it on Twitter, but to see this company, this project do well, to like see it succeed, to see it go the places that we all know it's going to go. And that's the kind of people that we want to grow with, right? We don't hire like influencers to talk about Saitama like on their Twitter or their Instagram, just one saying, "Hey, I'm a new Saitama holder. You should be too." No, like they talk about it with passion. They want to tell their friends about it. And they want to get everybody invested, and they want to do whatever they can and bring in whoever they can to help this thing move forward. So that was a large part of that, right? It wasn't just a fancy trip to Vegas for us to eat at the buffet. No, it's about making connections, about networking, and that's what big companies do. They network and they talk to people that want to get involved in the project, but more specifically, the right people, right? The people that have the ability to move the needle. So that's kind of what we were doing there. So I just wanted to talk about it briefly. But yeah, as always, we appreciate the support, and we're there, right? I'm gonna let these guys do their thing this afternoon, this evening, and tomorrow in the morning. They've literally spent the entire last 2 weeks almost 24/7 checking every single thing, like and what they've created. And I wish Max could get on here and like give you guys a little bit more of the technical side of what that looks like. But creating our own router system to mitigate bot activity, to have our own mempool to do that is a very, very intricate process. Right? I don't know if people understand like how difficult that is and how much man hours that go into doing that. And not for us, but for you guys, and not for us. Like I said, we could have opened up the swap, what was it, a couple weeks ago, but we didn't feel it was safe or moral to do that and allow liquidity in your guys' money to be taken. So we did the most responsible thing and shut it down and put mitigations in place to stop that. So anyhow, but we're there. So they finally got, I mean, like I said on our AMA last week, they got it figured out. They were just doing the continued testing on it over the weekend, and everybody else, gets the ability to kind of hang out and just let these guys work, and I feel almost guilty about it too. Like we get to go and see, do our end and the networking portion, go to Vegas and meet these guys and do the, the business side and the handshaking. These guys are doing the actual tech bit and testing the swap and doing all the stuff on the test net the whole weekend instead of spending time with their family. But that's what these guys do. They're, the tech guys. They're on the engineering team. That's what they like to do. So we'll let them do what they know how to do, and move forward. So, but I got all the faith in the world. I know some of these, people lost faith in our engineering team, but no, these guys are the best in the business and what they do. And if they say, hey, we need another 12 hours, then I'm not going to tell them no. But hey, you guys do what you need to do. You need a little bit more time, you tell me. I'll go out here and tell everybody this is what we're going to do, and this is why we're doing it. So, yeah, so that's what we're doing.
Hey,
So,
Russ.
Yeah.
Quick. Sorry for interrupting. I
No,
actually
you're good.
invited Max to come up. I don't know if he's still here. I've been trying to get him up here real quick, but Max, if you can hear me, and come up real quick. Let me see if I can bring him up.
Oh wait, here he is. Oh wait, he was invited. It just says invited. Let me text him real quick. I know Twitter got to do something about this, man. Like make it easier
Yeah,
for
no,
more
there's
people to come in here.
there's an issue. Like King JB said, whenever 1,000 people get in, like you and Max had to be the first 1,000, one of the first 1,000 people in. Like he's not. Oh, there he is.
Yep, he's in. All right.
Hey, we got it. Thanks, Twitter. They must have heard our call.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, I was just telling these guys that if they want to, go ahead and show up your house in the lynch mob, they're at. No, I was saying what you got. I was trying to give a brief little summary of kind of what you guys are working on over the weekend. Telling them we'll be injecting liquidity, taking things off the test net this evening and into tomorrow. So if you want to kind of reiterate a little bit of what I had already talked about, but maybe a little bit more on the technical side as far as what you guys were doing and the reasons for it, and what we have to look forward to over the next day or so.
Yeah, no, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head, the head on the nails. But anyways, we've been doing a lot of testing on testnet with the swap and some of the changes that we needed to make sure we made it a little bit more safer for everybody. Also deployed our own mempool. We've been doing a lot of testing with that, and then just running different scenarios. We actually even created our own bot just to test against our swap and our router and a few other contracts that we use underneath what Saitama is. And everything looks good and everything checks out. So we feel comfortable that we're going to start deploying it into what the main net or production, what we call production. This evening, all the way up until tomorrow evening, and then we should have it as it was before with all the pairings, with all the tokens that had already listed, and then we can move on to deploying Cider Realty, which we've already been testing on testnet. Also, just it's just not on the main net yet. So that's a good thing to mention. I don't know if you mentioned this, Russell, that if you see anything that's Cider Realty until we announce it, it's probably a scam or a fake. So don't trust it until we announce it from official channels.
Yeah, no, I didn't, but that's a good point. Yeah, it's on the test net only. So if you see a token out there on Uniswap, obviously it's a fake. Anything that's not specifically on Saitama is going to be a fake. So there'll probably be 10 variations of Cider Realty coins coming out tomorrow and the next day on Uniswap, not ours at all whatsoever. So yeah, maybe we'll put something out on our social medias as well to kind of let everybody know, because I know that not everybody's going to be in this space. So if you guys see something on Twitter or in different social medias, or people ask you, hey, is this the real Cider Realty coin and it's on Uniswap or whatever, then obviously tell them it's not, because it's obviously not. It's going to be exclusive on our platform.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm pretty sure everybody that's been here for quite a bit, we've always been target for scams and attacks. So just be on the lookout for that, and make sure that if when in doubt, ask. And we're more than happy to answer any questions from everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I think I just wanted to let you have an opportunity to kind of explain. So, putting the liquidity in place, moving things from testnet onto our main platform this evening and then tomorrow. I said we'll do. Scott's in here now. I'll let him speak here in a minute too. But I'll do an AMA on his channel Wednesday at noon, which will be a couple hours prior to the launch at Cider Realty. So, the contract will be available. How much time do we want to give people to put the contract out on our website and our social medias, Max, prior to the swap?
So if we want to do the idea to be behind doing a fair launch is to have it as close as possible to launch time. But we also are going to have cool down periods and built into our contract to kind of deter some bot activity and other things pertinent to that. So we try to mitigate that as much as possible. But I'd say within 30 minutes of the actual launch, we'll give the contract address out.
Okay, so yeah, keep an eye out, guys. We'll put it out all over our social medias and our website and stuff 30 minutes prior to launch for you guys to get the actual contract address. But Matt, it'll be on there anyways, right? Like the ticker, we'll put it on there ahead of time, like deploy it onto Saitama so people can see it on there. They just want to actually be able to swap for it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you guys will see it on there. Like if you're on Saitama and you go into the swap function, like you can swap Saitama and then Cider Realty will be a pairing option on there. So once the swap is open, obviously you'll be able to do it. So and I was trying to tell people as well, like why like a 5% price impact. So if you're trying to get like first, that 5% price impact, for example, you may only be able to swap 10 billion coins for whatever the reflective amount of coins for State of Realty is. And then with the cooldown period, you get your first initial bid. If you want to get more, once the cooldown period ends, you can get more, and the price impact will obviously be less. So maybe you get 10 billion the first time, 50 billion the next, and so on and so forth. So that's the easiest way to do it, and it allows everybody to at least get some right in the beginning for a fairly low price. But it doesn't allow people to grab a huge bag right off the bat and then dump it at the peak, right? That's not beneficial for anybody. So, so we'll do a couple more questions. We got Scott here. We'll bring him up here.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, Max, hey, Russ. Yeah, I was just gonna chime in and let everybody know, but you obviously did, that we were supposed to have our AMA today, and that we're gonna do it on Wednesday instead. So I'll get some information up on that. It's gonna be 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central Time. But I just wanted to kind of play off of what you were talking about earlier, Russ, when you were saying, like, hey, if the team needs more time, then I'm going to give them more time to make sure that this thing, goes off without a hitch. And just kind of remind everyone, yes, we're holders, and obviously, we're not in the know 100% of the time, and it gets a little stressful when delays happen. But at the end of the day, I mean, poor Max, and his team, these are the guys, that are working day and night trying to get this thing done. All we have to do is support them, right? We're not the ones putting in hours and hours and hours of work trying to make sure that the mask completely works 100% and the swap features work 100%. So, just a friendly reminder that, yeah, it's a little frustrating when delays happen, but at the end of the day, our job is easy. We're supporting these guys because we believe in this team the same way we've done since day one. And kind of playing off like what Anime said earlier, and I really liked what you said, just like congratulations to everyone who's been holding and staying strong and staying positive. Just keep that mentality going. The last thing you want to do is trip at the finish line, because the reason why you're invested in Saitama and the reason why I'm invested in Saitama is because we see the future that these guys are working so hard to build, and it doesn't happen overnight. So just wanted to say thank you to Max and Russ for continuing to work so hard and being as transparent as possible with the community.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. And it's true. I mean, so what would you guys rather do, right? And say Max says, hey, I need 12 more hours. And I'm like, okay, I'll give you 12 more hours. We're going to do it. Or just like, no, we didn't have it. And knowing that there may be, let's say even if it was a 1% chance that there was an issue with something, then having to deploy everything, right? And then move it on to the mainnet. And then 4 days later, a week later, be like, oh, hey, we got to shut it down for 2 days to mitigate this issue. And it'd be like, well, why didn't you guys fix that issue in the beginning? Like, well, that's what we're doing right now. So I would much rather, since it's already disabled, hey, get in there, make a little correction, and we'll move forward. It just makes more sense because, it's almost one of those things, right? You're like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. So at the end of the day, you just have to kind of step back and be like, okay, what makes the most sense? What is the most beneficial for the whole platform? And what's the most beneficial to all of our users? So Saitama wouldn't be successful if there was only 6 developers that had access to it, right? It would be a total waste of time, money, and energy if we created a platform that only 6 people could use. So anyway, yeah, so we'll look back on it and we'll get it out and we'll move it smooth and then we'll get it, launched out for everybody. And then I'm curious to see what the people will want to FUD about next. So once the platform's out, you're like, okay, what can we FUD? What can we find to create content to FUD about Saitama now? Because there's always something, right? Like, oh, well, I don't like the way that Russell combs his hair, even though I'm like practically bald. I'm sure we'll find something, right? So, but Max always wears a hat anyway, so.
Yeah, I've actually been told that way too many hats.
Yeah. It's cold in Texas today, and it's Russell's fault. Now, speaking of hats, I actually got some hats for you, Max, out the mail too. So let's see here. Coke Zero, what's up, man? Go ahead, Coke Zero. You got the floor, man. We'll do a couple questions, and I'm gonna let Max go. So if you guys have like tech questions or whatever, you can ask him. I'll stick around for a few more minutes and answer questions, but I'm gonna let Max get back to work. Every minute he's on here is 1 more minute on the back end, so we won't keep him for too long.
Hey, how you doing, Russ? First of all, thank you.
Hey, what's up, man?
Thank you a lot for doing this space in here and letting everybody know about what is coming. And congrats for a third launch that you already will be doing this. Shout out to Max Hernandez as well and his whole crew. Um, the only question that I have, because I have a lot of DMs from the Latino community, bro. Um, I already know the answer. You said point 20 will be the max buy to get in, and then you're gonna be able to keep buying. But they're asking me what time frame is this?
So there isn't a point to as far as for the swap. Are you talking about for the swap feature for
Yes,
the
for cited
Saitama?
royalty, yes.
Yeah. So for State of Realty, it's only one pairing. You have to swap Saitama for State of Realty. So there is no Ethereum involved. The only Ethereum that's involved is for the gas fees on the platform.
And how
So you
much
have to
will
have
be the max buy for that, Russ?
It's going to be variant on the price impact. So in the beginning, let's say the first, and this is just an example, like we don't know for sure, we won't know until it actually launches, but we'll say a price impact of 5% is 10 billion Saitama tokens for X amount of State of Realty coins. That next transaction, the second one that occurs, is going to be, we'll say 11 billion Saitama tokens for X amount of State of Realty tokens. It's not based on the actual token amount per se. It's based on the percentage of what that price impact is in the liquidity. So it's going to increase as the transactions occur. But that first one, the first transaction that goes through, will obviously get more bang for their buck per se, but it's going to have the same price impact. Then they'll have to go through a cool down period, so they can't make a second purchase until everyone else does, or enough people are able to get their first purchase in as well. Is that kind of, am I explaining that right?
100%. Oh, Max.
Max, is that kind of on cue?
Yeah, that's about right. I was talking to myself on mute, of course.
That's okay. I do that often.
It happens, man. It happens.
Okay. Yeah, so I hope everybody understands, and I'll talk a little bit more about that prior to the launch. We'll get details, but the idea behind that, right, is to have a cool down period so that people can't come in and buy, a bunch like back to back to back to back, like depending on your internet connection, depending on your slippage. Right? I mean, people that have been in and done a lot of launches, they know to come in and set their slippage tolerance like 50%, right? And they're like, as soon as liquidity is injected and the swap goes live, they could essentially make 4 or 5 transactions before anybody else gets an opportunity. So when you have that cool down period, it allows other people to get in at a low price point as well. And based on the price impact, you can get, a fair amount, obviously, depending, on what your place in line is, so to speak. So it's about, honestly, as fair. Like, I've been through a ton of different launches, and doing it this way is about as fair as it gets. Like, there's no pre-sales, there's no airdrops, there's none of that stuff. So it is literally as fair as we could possibly create it, and mitigating bot activity on it is just going to make it that much easier. So we've done pretty much everything we can humanly do, and also putting it on our own platform where we can control it and not launching it on Uniswap or Sushi Swap or whatever else. So yeah, and we'll talk about it a little bit more on Scott's channel on Wednesday. Let's see what we got here. I'm trying to see people that I haven't had up here or that I haven't spoken to.
I can go down. Thank you, Russ.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. What's up, Warrior? I'll let you get a chance here. There you go. You got the floor, man. What's up?
Hey, Russ. How's it going?
Good. What's going on, man?
Good. So good news today. Thanks a lot for that. With the world and everything that's going on, it's good to have positivity. My question is, so now with where we are, I've mentioned some of us having projects in the space, and one of the things that after the last conversation space you held where you were talking about pre-sales and fair launches and everything, was this something that kept coming up is the fact that there's like in the VC and angel investor world, there's gatekeepers, but they're like thousands of them, right? In the crypto world, there's gatekeepers, and they're like hundreds, not thousands, hundreds. So it's even, the gates are smaller, and there's a huge opportunity, right, with Saitama, right, to kind of open the doors wide, not just for early investors, but for good projects. And I'm wondering, when it comes to scaling out into those other tokens that we'll be applying, like what does that kind of timeline, and I guess maybe I'm looking for what's going to be the pace of bringing other tokens into the Saitama ecosystem?
I mean, so we have a onboarding system, and we are like bottleneck right now of coins that want to get on to Saitama. We have them all formatted on like an Excel sheet that we're basically just hanging on to right now until Max and the other engineers get the swap unlocked and opened up, and test to make sure that the original coins that we have on there in phase one are good to go and there's no issues. And then we can start onboarding them. How quickly and how many we can do, I think really just depends on how long it takes. It's going to be one of those things that we'll kind of, get better at it as we go, right? We might be able, we did 6 the first time, maybe we'll do another 6 the second time, and it'll take, 3, 4, or 5 days. But as we go along and we kind of scale out and bring in more engineers and bring on more people into our onboarding team, we could, essentially do, much more than that. Max, you want to touch on like what you think, what your expectations are as far as how many people we can bring on, how many coins and all that?
Yeah, it's like you mentioned at the beginning. It's going to be obviously something that takes time to ramp up. But anybody that knows me, especially personally, and other business dealings that I've been, always a big fan of automation. So the idea behind this is to have a process in place, and the right tool sets, because we are managing it through Excel with various team members, but we want to have a platform where people can submit an application and then track their progress until they're approved and submitted, and then also look at all their information from a bird's eye view on their project on Saitama. So that's something that we've been working on the side, but that'll be all for project owners, and to be able to streamline that, because if you have the right tools and an automated process, then I don't see why we shouldn't be able to bring on many projects on a daily or at least weekly.
Awesome. So Russ, Max, I've been in the DMs with Elon too. I mean, I'd love to, or Aaron, I'd love to have an opportunity if there is, to talk with the team about Reaver, and specifically even some automation that we've programmed into our protocol, trying to set a precedent for kind of safety measures, given what we've also experienced in recent weeks in the community. So if there is an opportunity to speak with the team, I just want to say, like, I think I've connected with at least 2 of you individually, at least in spaces or in the DMs. But if if there is room, I'd love to talk more.
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely do something like over Zoom, or it's probably easier. I mean, most of the social media stuff kind of gets drowned in the sea of messages, so it's probably easier to talk offline or at least on an email. But yeah, definitely reach out and we can set something up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, send an email. That's usually the best way to do it, because as Max saying, like, I literally get 1,000 messages on Telegram, Twitter, text messages. Like, I have right now 100 unread text messages. I don't even know how that many people got my phone number, but it's even worse on Telegram and everything else. And so if you're one of those people that sent me a message like a month ago and I haven't responded, it's not because I am ignoring you. It's because I literally get so many messages every day that I can't. So I rely a lot on email. Just because I know if it's coming across my email, then it's probably something official that we should, at least, devote some time to. And then, second to that, also setting up like a Zoom call so I can give it, some proper attention, because we get a lot of opportunities from, different projects and from people that, investors and everything else that want to get on board in joint ventures through Saitama. So we're pretty big in the space, and everywhere I go and everybody I talk to, they're not only familiar with Saitama, but they want to get involved somehow. Like they see kind of where this thing is going, and they're like, hey, we got to get in somehow. We got to create an opportunity where there's an opportunity to be made. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. But yeah, that's the best way.
Yeah. So if you can give me a quick follow, and I'll just DM you an email, and maybe we can do the Zoom thing. Aaron and I have already been in touch, so it'll just be about connecting the dots. That's cool.
Yeah. That's me. And Elon's got an email too. He's probably got a million unread emails. But yeah, send me a message and I'll send you my email address and we'll figure it out, man. But I appreciate it. Let's see here. I'm trying to. I see there's a lot of people requesting. I know I've spoke to all you guys. I'm just trying to see if we can get someone. We'll do one more question and then let Max go, and then I'll field
Okay,
some
I'm
more
already up
questions.
here, Russ. This is Trina. I'm up here already.
Oh,
Can
okay.
you
What's
see
up? Yeah.
Hey, Russ. Hey, Max. What's up, Wolfpack? Real quick question. Mine's super quick. How many zeros would Seder Realty have? I'm assuming 12. What's the starting price on it?
Yeah, I'm not sure, Max. Do we have a set price for it yet?
So we'll announce that tomorrow with when we put it out there on publicly. How many zeros and all the information needed, as including the contract address.
Okay, cool. Not tomorrow, Wednesday. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Right.
Yeah, Wednesday. See, I'm all over the place as far as days.
Well, I just want to put it out there because people are like, no, Max said Tuesday, not Wednesday.
Yeah. Wednesday. So right before release, when we release the information, the contract, we'll put target price, and all the pertinent information that everybody needs to prepare.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Gina. You can get if there's any questions I can't answer, I'll write them down and I'll hit you up later, Max. I'll let you get back to work. But thanks for coming on here and answering a few questions and stuff. So I'll let you get back to the team and get this thing rolled out for us.
All right, sounds great, guys. We'll keep in touch, and then obviously after the swap is all up there and running, then I'll get more involved in community and start doing a little bit more talks I used to before. Just I wanted to make sure that we got all the things worked out and then released on time.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, and just to kind of give you guys a heads up, like, a lot of us aren't on here a lot. Like I was talking about a little bit earlier, like we had so many different things going on in so many different directions. Like Gabe's working on, all the gaming in our Fang platform, and we got all this marketing going on and different partnerships and collaborations we're building. And now I'm working on trying to get all these coin listings and our application sorted, and dealing with different exchanges and things and trying to figure out what we're going to do with that as far as having different exchanges wanting to get listed in Saitama and stuff. So even though we're not on here, we don't do a lot of spaces. It's not that we don't want to, it's just because we have to kind of prioritize our time a little bit. And Max obviously being busy with the Saitama, and it's not even just the Saitama, guys. So him and his team are working on several different things at the same time. Like creating the staking functions. We had that prototype for the hardware wallet that we're trying to get ready so we can display it in March for at the Dubai Expo. And having like an onboarding system, like an automated onboarding system for tokens. So these are all things that are happening simultaneously. I know it's kind of hard to visualize, but if you get that 10,000 foot view and you see all the different working parts, like the whole ecosystem functioning as a whole, it's pretty impressive. But it's trying to get short-sighted and narrow-minded, like, okay, it's swap only. Like, no, there's so many other things that are going on all simultaneously. It's really impressive. It's like a whole working mechanism inside our ecosystem. But a big caveat to that is a fully functional platform, and then we can start rolling out the rest of the stuff. So, so we're there. Let me get a couple more questions. Sure. We'll do.
Hey, Russ, you already got me pulled up here.
Oh, okay. What's up?
Hey, I just want to tell you and the team, I mean, obviously this has been repeated thousands of times to you guys. I appreciate all the hard work that y'all are doing and everything that's going along. You got your core wolf pack here supporting. We're ready for the future. There's one thing, a couple of weeks ago, you did an interview, an AMA with the person that a lot of us question, you doing that AMA, but man, you went in there and you killed it with that person. There's one point in that AMA that I like to call your thug life moment. I want to ask you about how you felt about that. When they were questioning your marketing knowledge and ability, you hit them with one question and they replied with, they know nothing about marketing. How good did you feel whenever you got that response for somebody trying to question you in your marketing?
No, I mean, I'm not I don't ever try to put people down or be disrespectful. If you guys know me, I'm very professional, very transparent. I act without emotion, almost like a robot. Right? Like everything I would do from sun up, sun down, it's all business, and it's always been that way. So, I mean, I get a little defensive sometimes when people, try to like call out us and our motives and our tactics and things. And I'm all for criticism, right? Like I am accepting of it because sometimes that's where your best ideas come from, right? And people can give you outside perspective and say, hey, have you ever thought about doing it this way? Right? Like a true leader will accept criticism, not as being deflective or defensive, but as truly what it is, and it's criticism, like an outsider perspective. Like, if you guys could do this way, it may be more beneficial. And like, you know what, you're right. But on the other hand, they'll say, well, why are you doing this? It doesn't make any sense. Like, instead of just saying, hey, we're doing it because of this, this, and this. Like, well, how are you going to question my motive without having the working knowledge to question it in the first place? Right? Like, I don't go to the hospital and go into surgery and tell the surgeon how to do his job. Right? I'm not a surgeon. I'm really not. I don't know the first thing about it. But what I do know is business, and I do know about crypto. And even more so, I'm not even the chief marketing officer, but I know enough about it and I know how things work in business related in general. And crypto is not really any different. Outside of the the tokenomics and the structure of crypto and what it's designed to do, it still has a very pivotal role into business and how you interact and the things that you do. So I have a working knowledge in just about every area. It doesn't mean I'm a an expert in marketing. I'm not an expert in finance. I'm not an expert in tech. Far from an expert in tech, rather. But I also know my limitations. So I know enough to do enough of each job. But we have a marketing officer. We have a tech guy, and these guys, that's what they do. That's what their expertise are. So anyhow, so it's yeah, and like I said, I don't try to deflect. I don't try to put people down, but at the same time too, I have to get a little defensive and say, okay, well, I understand criticism and I accept criticism, but at some point too, I have to kind of divert and back. Well, okay, if you're gonna tell me how to do my job, you better be sure you know how to do it better than me.
Hey, Russ, I ain't gonna lie. I really enjoyed your response. I'm like, he's gonna call you out like that. I'm like, that was the perfect answer. I ain't gonna lie. I enjoyed it. You
Yeah,
nailed
and
that interview.
I'm not, and people like sent me a lot of messages like, no, don't go on there, don't go on there. They're just gonna, bad talk you, bad talk. Like, no, and I'm very professional, and I've never been against like going and hitting the FUD head on because a lot of times the only reason that people FUD about a project specifically is because there's not enough information out there. Maybe um, it's a lack of information or a misinformation of some kind. And most time and early on, I would just talk to people individually. Right? If I saw somebody that was speaking badly about Saitama, like I would just send them a message directly and be like, hey, what is it that you're not sure about? Like, what is your main motive for talking ill about Saitama? Like, is there something that you think is wrong? Do you think that we're trying to cover something up? Right. Well, and most of the time it's just misinformation. They're like, oh, well, I'm putting on Saitama because of X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, well, actually, your X, Y, and Z is not even remotely close to what the truth or facts are. So let me give you those facts, and then you can make your own assumption, and then you can collect your own data and do it that way. But, obviously now we're on a much grander scale, and I can't do that. And most of the time, I see people talk about Saitama when they're making YouTube videos or whatever. It's just nonsense, and it's not even worth my time, to be honest with you. But when we do have, a few minutes, I don't have a problem talking to somebody. I will go toe to toe with the biggest futter to Saitama on the planet and put them right back in their place because there is literally nothing you can do or say that is going to make sense and can easily be justified about what we're trying to do, where we've been, because we're transparent. We have been from the beginning. There's nothing that we have to hide ever. Even now coming out and doing a Twitter space saying, hey, just to let you guys know, we're running about 12 hours behind. We could have just not said anything and just let the whole day go by, and you guys would be like, oh, well, was the swap going to open? We got State of Realty coming out tomorrow. Yada. It's easier for us to just be ahead of it and come out and be like, look, we're going to start injecting liquidity tonight. We're going to open up the swap function, tomorrow, and we're going to make State of Realty go live on Wednesday. That's easier than just letting people draw their own assumptions and speculations, right? Because when people start to do that, they overthink, they overreact, and that's how FUD is created. So being in front of things like that is the most beneficial, and it makes the most sense, and that's what we've done from the beginning, and that's what we'll always do. So
keep killing it, Russ. Thank you.
Awesome, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Let's see here. Oren Whale. I don't think I've had you up here before. What's up, man? Orin whale. What's an orin whale? You gotta push. Oh, you get kicked off. Okay.
You can put me down, Russ. I might have to step down.
Okay. Let's see here.
Can I just say, every time
Bob?
you talk bad about YouTubers, I cringe a little, but I know you're not talking about me, so.
No, not you, man. Not you. Not you. I don't even honestly. I just know because I see like thumbnails and stuff like people like I've never even seen before. Completely, you know, like 2 subscribers. I'm like, hold on, man. And you know, like a lot of times too, the people like trying to create a name for themselves by fudding Saitama. It's like, what are you gonna do when you got nothing left to fud about? What are you just gonna, I don't know, have to start making legitimate content at that point, I guess.
Ain't that the truth? No, I know, obviously. I just thought that was funny.
I don't know. Like I said, they'll probably put. I mean, so like I don't like the way I comb my hair or the way I tie my shoes or something. I don't know. Go ahead. You got the 4-man Saitama with the wolf and the bomb and bagger. What's that mean?
Yeah, what's up, Russ?
What's going on, man? Go ahead.
Yeah, good night. Good night from Europe. So I have a question because I see some confusion that people think that if they like swap their Saitama for some other projects, it's gonna affect like or have a negative impact on the Saitama ETH pair price, basically. I think it would be nice if you could just explain it.
Yeah, no, it won't affect the price at all, actually. So it's not tied into the Uniswap platform where the liquidity lives. So if you're swapping Saitama for, I don't know, for any of the other 6 coins that are on there, you know, Shuna, Mandox, whatever, it doesn't mean that the Saitama price is going to go down per se, and the Mandox or Shuna or any of the other coins are going to go up because it's a liquidity pairing that's specific for the Saitama's platform. So the price index is built on the liquidity that's in Uniswap because that's where the LP lives. So doing a 1-for-1 pairing, we're allowing that pairing to take place and that swap feature to take place for Saitama to that specific coin. So if anything, it'll make the Saitama price go up because if people want to buy that other coin, they have to trade it with Saitama. So if you don't have any, you have to buy some. And if you have some already and you want to swap it, great. But what if you don't? You know, like myself, I'm very partial to my Saitama. I don't give it to anybody. So if I want to trade for another coin that we have on our platform, then I'll just buy more Saitama and I'll swap it on there. Instead of, you know, purchasing Ethereum, I'll just, you know, purchase Ethereum to then buy that coin. Like I'll purchase Ethereum, buy some Saitama, and then swap it for it. So it won't cause you, you know, if anything, it'll make the burn mechanism obviously kicks in. So we'll get that hyper burn action. But the price impact of either coin is not going to be directly affected by that swap that takes place. Does that kind of make sense, hopefully?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. Let's see here. Sing Crypto, what's that, man? Oh, there you go. That went through. Sing Crypto, what's that, man? You got a question? We'll come back to you. That's okay. I'll leave you out there. We'll come back to you. Crypto Bollocks, what's up, man? I was on your channel. Let's just shoot a question up here. Go ahead, brother. You good? One of you guys, Crypto Bollocks or Sing?
Hey,
Crypto?
Russ, man, I love you, brother. God bless you for all you've done for the community. We are right around the corner from greatness. And man, in a couple of weeks, no one's going to care about a few hours delay. What I respect about you is you always make the right moves. I think you have just the biggest heart, and we've got such a positive, beautiful, amazing Wolfpack community because of the leadership team. So thank you and all of the devs. You're absolutely amazing, and we're bullish on you, bro. So thank you very much. God bless you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, and it really is true, man. Like we don't, and like I was saying earlier, like we're not doing this for us 6. Like we're not creating the platform just for 6 developers. That wouldn't make any sense. You know, we don't spend 24/7 pushing this project for the six of us. Like, we're not gaining anything from that. We're not getting rich off it. We're not, counting our money in our lazy boys saying, oh, and like, smoking cigars. Like, we're out here putting in work for everybody to make this project and make this community bigger and stronger, and to ultimately have the price go, because we want everybody to win. So we got to keep working and keep putting in the time, the energy, and the effort into this thing to get it to where we want it to be. But it's not going to be tomorrow, and it's not going to be next month. But we can all look back at this, a year from now, 2 years from now, and be like, man, we were on the ground floor of something really special, and then we can laugh about the tough times, right? All the different things that we've had to go through since, really since the launch, but more recently, obviously. But it's, growing pains, and we got to just kind of endure it and take it in stride.
Just know there's people like me out there that really appreciate you. The Wolfpack appreciates you. And thank you very much for taking it on the chin for us all the time and giving us the positivity, the leadership, and everything that we need. Thank you very much, Russ, and the team.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, and I know that. Like, for every one negative person out there, there's 150 positive people out there, right? I know that. That's why I don't even pay attention to it, man. People are out there being negative if you want to. That's fine, because most of the time they don't even hold Saitama. It's like, why are you spending so much time and energy talking badly about a coin that you probably don't even hold? And just move on to another one or something. I don't know. Like, take some of that energy elsewhere. Put it to good use. There's so much negativity in the world already. I don't need no more of it. And people that just spread negativity. Like, you're not a part of the solution. You are the problem. So, but we ain't got time for that. We move on, man. Mr. Flossie, go ahead, brother. Go ahead. We just spoke earlier. How we doing, man? You got the floor. You got connected. The generous Al Flossie. You good? Can you hear me? You're on if you want to speak, man. We'll come back to you if you don't.
Yeah, do you can I interject real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So how you doing? I hope everything's well. I thought something that was really cool about this whole thing. We're talking about how people, if they're not, invested in Saitama or don't want to trade their Saitama and they want to buy new Saitama for, let's say, Saita Realty. I thought the other cool thing was that as we list more tokens, don't they have to buy and provide Saitama as liquidity as well?
Absolutely. They 100% do.
So then communities and other tokens also have to purchase Saitama. And then the other flip side of thing is if there's actually a tied liquidity pairing between and Saitama is the catalyst, like Ethereum, if you're purchasing, let's say, Saitama and more buys come in, the liquidity pool of Ethereum goes up, right? So wouldn't that be the same thing for Saitama? The liquidity pool increases over time in Saitama?
Yeah, and that's exactly how we migrate our liquidity from Uniswap over to SataMask, because you have to provide that equal pairing opportunity within our platform. So let's just say we have a coin that we're reviewing, right? We'll call it Token X, and if they want to, get listed on SataMask. So they, go through our process, our onboarding process, and before we make the coin live, they have to inject liquidity. So we'll say they have $25,000 of native token X and $25,000 of Saitama. So that's $25,000 of Saitama that was not on, SataMask before then. So they added it. If they're holders of it, great. If they're not, then they have to buy 25,000 of Saitama on Uniswap and then bring it to SataMask. So the liquidity is by organically migrating over to our platform over time.
And then as people buy X token with Saitama, that Saitama gets put back into the liquidity pool, correct?
Correct.
So,
on our platform.
On your platform. So literally it's going to drive the price up exponentially really quick as people begin to trade.
Correct. And as we add more tokens onto our platform, yeah, it'll drive the price up. So, and that's the idea, and that's what we were trying to say from the beginning, is the idea is to create an ecosystem that has one sole purpose in life, and that's to benefit the Saitama token. Like, even with the Saita Realty, like, oh, okay, how can we launch another token? Well, it serves a purpose, right? So it has its own use case in itself, but it's still a derivative of the Saitama token, right? It still has one sole purpose in life, and that's to, create a burn mechanism for the Saitama token to increase the value of it, because now people that maybe you're not a Saitama holder, but you're really bullish on Sata Realty and you want to buy some. Well, in order to buy some, you have to have Saitama. And it's the same concept with Ethereum. So let's say you're not a huge Ethereum fan for whatever reason. Everybody has their own whatever. So you're not a huge Ethereum fan, but you are a fan of the tokens that are listed on the ERC20 platform. You'd be like, okay, that's great. You don't have to hold a huge amount of Ethereum, but if you want to buy some of that ERC20 token, guess what? You have to have Ethereum. So it's the same concept with Saitama and SataMask. Like, you don't have to be bullish on Saitama. Maybe you're just bullish on Sata Realty, or maybe you're bullish on one of the other projects that are listed on our platform. You still have to have some Saitama to do that. And even when we roll out our other platforms, like our edutainment platform, our gaming, our play to earn, our Fang NFT platform, and even Fang specifically, like, if you want to buy, sell, and trade NFTs on our NFT platform, you can only do it with Saitama. So you don't have to be bullish on Saitama to, to have the price go up. Like, you have to own some of it, regardless of what you feel about it. If you want to utilize some of these other, platforms within our ecosystem, you have to hold at least a little bit, and of course, organically will drive the price up, which will initiate, a hyperburn sequence, which will diminish the circulating supply. So all these things are very strategic, and they're aligned to do so with one motive, and that's to increase the value of our parent token, which is Saitama.
Hey Russ, Max actually just tweeted right now. So he also stated that he forgot to mention that the swap to function, the latest version should be coming out tomorrow. So there should be an update, one last update for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everyone
Yeah,
everyone's on the same page.
Got it. Yeah, and that's cosmetic stuff probably they're working on. We'll have a few other updates, but yeah, the idea is, this evening to move off the test net onto the main net, as he was talking about, and injecting the liquidity and all that good stuff. So, like, if you guys remember last time when we initiated and opened up the swap function the first time, I think it took like an hour for each individual token, but now, and that was on a very small scale. Like, when the first time we did it, we only injected like 10,000 in liquidity. Now we're going to be injecting much more, in 6-7 figure range. So, yeah, but Philosophy, you got, man? I think you're a speaker now, if you want to say something.
Very good night with all the love from all the way from Dubai, Russ, to you and to the whole team. And I see many people inside over here. Russ, all these people down that you see over here, they love you. They are your warriors. They are Saitama warriors. They are the wolf pack. I don't want to miss anyone out, but we got Trina, Cryptobolics, Faltron, Lotus, Coke Zero, Danny, Miss Saitama Dubai. I don't want to miss anyone like Marmor, Gabe, each and everyone, Saitama Scott, Henry Lee, Chokin for Tokens, Marky, all these people, Russ, they love you. And their love for you is the success of this token. And this token is successful. So basically, even if there is one person who comes out with negativity, it's not 150 people for that one person. It's more than 340,000 holders for that person. So each and every person's name which I took, and each and every person which is over here, and I'm sorry if I'm forgetting you, like Crypto Alert, maybe he's not over here, but he's one of the main people for that. I would like to tell each and every person of the Saitama community, good things, they take time, but always remember, great things happened all at once. This is what Saitama did for the community. This is what Saitama has done for the community. It did each and everything at one time. And Russ, especially for you, especially for you, count your nights by stars, not by shadows. And count your life with smiles, not tears, because you have put smile on the face of each and every person in this room, each and every human in this room. Basically, Saitama is not down. This is a dip which was bought. This is a opportunity for the people who are maybe being missed out. That's all I would like to say. And Russ, thank you personally from my side, and thank the full team of yours, because basically we did not even start yet. this is maybe just a drop in the ocean. And the ocean is so big that each and every person, even if they drink from it, it's still going to stay ocean. And the people who are bringing negativity, they are thinking that it's a swimming pool or maybe it's a small tub, but it's not. You don't have 150 people for each negative person. You have the full wolf pack for that negative person, each and every one of those negative people. Thank you, Russ, and thank you, each and every person.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, and there's definitely a ton of people, all the people you missed it, and then some. There's so many people out there that have just been overly supportive in everything that we're trying to do, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to, create a solid foundation moving forward, and we have all the right tools and all the right people to make this thing so incredible. I'm excited as to where we're going. Right? I know that there's been a lot of negativity as we've talked about it in the past, and just kind of just a shift of momentum a little bit, right? And we're at that point now. We can finally start moving again in the right direction. Uh, so and it's a great opportunity for people now to get in, because we're still so early on. And like I said, it's a dip that got eaten. And a lot of that comes into play because we're still so young. So a lot of people made a ridiculous amount of money on Saitama, and that's okay, because now they've taken their profit out. And they've gone their way, and they're still holding some or whatever. But now we're moving on. Now it's time for people that just bought in, or maybe even they bought in close to the all-time high, that we can start moving on. There's going to be a point here very, very soon where every single person, regardless of when you bought, is going to be in the profit, in the green, and a very significant amount. It's inevitable. It's inevitable, because there's nothing to really stop us. I think if anything was going to stop us, it would have stopped us already, because we've endured so much in the past that if it was going to be an issue, it would have stopped us back then. All the different things that we've had to go through. So now we're on the track. Now we're moving forward, and it doesn't matter what comes at us, because we've already dealt with it, and we've moved on. So we're good. So I appreciate
Russ,
it, man.
Anytime. I would proudly like to say, like, when I entered Twitter, when I came to know about Twitter after I bought my first crypto, people invested in crypto by saying Shiba. I'm proudly so happy to say that I firstly invested in Saitama, and me as being from Dubai, me as being the guest of honor of the Crypto Expo of Dubai, I hold Saitama as my first token. So there is nothing better than that. There is nothing better than that for Dubai and for the people of Dubai for a thing like that. So I'm like, really, I would like to thank you, and thank you very much.
And likewise, we appreciate all your support. The Dubai Expo is going to be huge. We got a massive booth right up in the front. I'll be speaking yourself. We have, a guest speaker. We're going to have some stuff that we're going to put out. We got the Fang platform we're going to be putting out. Hopefully we have a working prototype now for our hardware wallet, and this thing is super slick. Like, I don't know. I wish I could share it with you guys, because you guys' heads would be blown, because it is unlike anything I've ever seen before. Like, if you go and look at a Nano or anything like that, it doesn't even hold a flame to our hardware wallet. So we're looking to put that out at the Crypto Expo. People's minds are going to be blown. Like, it's all touch screen. It's very savvy. It's sleek. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So, anyways, I don't want to give too much details. I'll let Max, because he's the one putting that together. Yeah, aside from doing the swap feature and the SATA mask and all that stuff, I've also been constructing a prototype for their SATA Safe, the hardware wallet. So, anyways, very cool stuff. Let's see here. Saitama Maxi, Alex speak. I know you're a big advocate for the space. I appreciate you. Go ahead. Well, we'll come back to see here. Trying to find people that haven't.
Hey, Russ, if you don't mind, I can squeeze one in there.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have several DMs from the community and people and investors of mine.
Mhm.
They're wondering about the staking option for the mask and also liquidity.
Yeah, so the staking feature Max is working on still. So he should hopefully have that out relatively soon, I would assume. I'm not going to go ahead and say exactly when, because he hasn't given us an indication of like an exact date or anything when the swap feature, or I'm sorry, the stake feature will be available on there. But I'm sure after we get this rolled out, and the team can kind of shift direction and shift focus a little bit to that. And then he'll give us a little bit more information on when it'll be available and when we can start to look at, staking coins. So with the state of realty, like it's dependent also on the staking feature. So in order to receive dividend from company revenue, you'll have to have your tokens staked on our platform. So the two go kind of hand in hand. So it's going to be the next biggest priority is getting the staking feature out. As far as liquidity, we've already put a ton of liquidity into Saitama out of our own pocket, like the developers have, like a lot. I'm not going to even tell you how much is a crap ton of Ethereum and Saitama. So we have plenty of liquidity in there right now, but we'll start adding more, right? As we get more tokens listed on there, they'll be injecting liquidity. And as we, people migrate some of their tokens over to our platform, the liquidity will increase as well. So I know like on Uniswap, there's probably, 15, $20 million worth of whatever. It'll slowly start to migrate over onto our platform. What about let's see here, Capricorn or Orion? I just like the big fat cat you got on your picture.
Yes, sir. 3 quick points. Are you able to speak to what the gas fees are going to be on Saitama?
Gas fees, our gas fees are dependent on what the miner fees are associated within the Ethereum blockchain. So we don't there's 2 different fees that you pay, right? So there's the swap fee that you pay like on Uniswap. Ours are much less, right? I think they're like less than $1 or something like that. They're very cheap. The miner fee, we don't dictate. That's all part of like, whatever the volume is, whatever the traffic is on the blockchain itself. Just so you guys know, we don't control the blockchain until we actually release our own SATA chain, which will be our own blockchain. We don't dictate miner fees. We don't dictate volume or any of that stuff, or have any control over the blockchain because that's the ERC chain, and we obviously don't control that, so we won't know what that price is. But whatever it is will be less than any other decentralized platform out there because our swap fee, right, or our exchange fee is less than anybody else out there. So if you have, per se, if you go on Uniswap and a gas fee is $50, you're paying $50 for the gas transaction, and you're paying whatever the Uniswap fee is. So we'll call it $10. So now you're paying $60 for that transaction. On Uniswap, you're still paying the $50 miner fee or whatever it is in association with that. It might be a little less, but you're paying much less on the swap fee. So instead of paying 60, maybe now you're paying like 51 or something, and I'm just using those as an examples, but and we'll gather some data as we open up the swap feature to try to see what those are, but it's going to be less on our platform than anywhere else. Like we'll put them side by side and kind of look at some data and see what that is, but we already know going in that our fees will be less, much less.
Alrighty. And going to what Max just posted, then he said that the update has been submitted and it should be available tomorrow, but that can take up to 24 to 48 hours, especially on Apple. They tend to follow Google Play Store. So people need to not just freak out and panic if they don't immediately see it within time, correct?
Yeah, and that's for the app update, and it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the swap feature and all that.
He does say that it needs to update for the swap to work.
Let's see. Hold on. Let me see what he posted.
So if he did submit it, it could have already been submitted. We don't
Yeah.
have the details, so I mean.
Yeah, for the swap functionality, it seems like Max already submitted the updates during the weekend. So
okay. Yeah, he did mention that, and he probably trying to catch up. I was gone over the weekend, so I know you guys are working on it. But yeah, usually in the past, like if you do it on the weekend, yeah, it's usually like you said 24 or 48 hours. So I would assume probably tomorrow. We're probably right around the same time. I think Google's been pretty quick. It's been like less than 24 hours for Google the last couple updates we've pushed out.
Yeah, Google's always faster. In terms of what he was saying for scammers, then are y'all going to be able to send out a post here on Twitter and in Telegram on which accounts people can watch in order to get that green light to go? And would y'all be able to lock the Telegram like 30 minutes or so before launch so that there's not misinformation being spread?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll put all that stuff out on our social medias 30 minutes before, Twitter, Telegram, Facebook, website, all that stuff. And we can log it down so people aren't copying the wrong address. But realistically, the easiest way to do is if you open up SataMask and you open up the wallet and you go to the swap feature, there's only going to be one Sata Realty token available on there. So it's not like Uniswap where you're you're copying and pasting a contract address. It's only available on our platform. So if you go onto the swap function, right, and you click for the top pair, Saitama, and then the next drop down, say Realty, you click on that, there's really no room for error. The only way that potentially could be cause for scam is if you tried to go onto Uniswap, because I'm sure there'll be a bunch of people trying to create a contract called Sata Realty, and the first red light or red flag for you should be that you have to go to Uniswap, because you won't even be able to buy the token on Uniswap at all. It can only be purchased through our platform. So if you're if you're following a link or getting a contract address and it's taking you to Uniswap, and that should be your first indication there that you're getting the wrong one. But yeah, we'll make sure that we put out as much information and reiterate to as many different people on as many different platforms as possible to make sure that nobody's getting taken advantage of. Because I'm sure I'd be surprised if there wasn't already a Sata Realty coin on Uniswap or should even BSC platform at this point.
Yeah, and people send out misinformation as far as like it's suddenly available on Uniswap was the main thing that I was concerned with.
Yeah.
Finally, then, just to clarify, on SataMask, we do need both Saitama to make the swap, but then we also need ETH to pay the gas fees. Correct?
Correct. Yep.
Thanks, sir.
Good question, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, you'll need Ethereum to complete the transaction. The Saitama is the actual coin that you're swapping for, but the Ethereum is what's needed to pay the gas fee. So whatever the gas fees are, at the time is what you'll need in your wallet. Let's see. President Chill, you're always a good one. I like to have you come up here and speak if you can, ask your questions. Another great Wolfpack advocate. How are you, ma'am? We'll come back to you then. But you can speak whenever you get a chance. Let's see. I'm trying to get here. Sorry, I'm just trying to go through. I try and call people I've never.
Hey guys, I'm gonna
Had
head
up here
out.
before.
Just wanted to say thanks again for the space. You guys killed it. Everyone had such great questions. Community is awesome, and we'll see y'all tomorrow and Wednesday.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
See you guys. Thank you, Russ.
Yeah, no worries.
Was that me then?
Yeah, you're good.
I got disconnected for some reason.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I just wanted to ask on the SataMask at the minute. Obviously, the other coins are listed. But when Sata Realty comes, will that be like a listed coin, or would you have to import the contract onto SataMask?
No, so it'll be the contract will be on the SataMask platform. So it'll be just like any other one. So if you go on to like the swap feature right now and you put in Saitama on the top, and then the bottom drop down menu, all the other coins that are on there, Sata Realty will be added as a ticker on there. So the smart contract will be on SataMask, but it's also on the ERC20 chain. So it'll live like on Etherscan. You can still see the transaction through Etherscan. But the liquidity will be forever embedded into the SataMask platform. But yeah, it'll be on there as a ticker where you can scroll down the list of coins available, and it'll be on there, and you can see it and purchase it or swap for it.
Right. And would Max as well be able to put like a currency changer, because it shows like I'm from the UK, so it shows in dollars for me. But would we be able to change that?
Yeah, so I know that I don't know, I'm wondering if they were going to add that into this update that they pushed out over the weekend, because I know that was something that they were looking to do, where it's kind of like a cosmetic conversion kit that they were going to put into there. And I know it was going to be on an update coming forward. So I'll ask them and see if that was something that they put into this latest update, because I know it was something that they were going to do. So I just don't know which update it was going to be on. So maybe it's on this one. I'll have to ask them.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Russ, I want to squeeze another one, but let's go with old guy first, if you don't mind. I don't mean to take control, JB.
Oh no, yeah, you're good. There we go. That'll be. Oh wait. Oh, you're already a speaker. Yeah. What's up, man? Go ahead. What's up, old guy Dave?
What's up, Russ? Hey, I
How
got
you
a
doing?
question for you. You might have an idea what I'm going to ask about. So, Saitama, the launch is very important to the community. Another huge part of the Saitama launch is the Sata Realty token going live for trading. So, my question is specific to Sata Realty. Is that good?
Yeah, go ahead, man. No questions are off
Okay.
limits.
So I know you've done some AMAs. Not everybody makes all the AMAs because of work and sleep cycles and everything else. Can you go into some details for us as much as possible right now on how Sata Realty is going to function based on the fact that Saitama is an LLC? You had mentioned possibly an S corp and a holding company. Can you go into some details since there's legal ramifications on how those corporations can work together in reference to number of principal stakeholders and how dividends are paid, just as much as you can right now? I know you don't have your legal team sitting in the room, but I'm getting a lot of DMs from investors asking those types of questions, and I can't answer them because I haven't heard it from the team exactly what's happening.
Yeah, no, exactly. And there's a few different options that we're looking at right now. And we have a little bit of time, obviously, to figure that out because the dividend shareholders and distributing funds is not going to happen right away. Like we have to take the capital, purchase the real estate, and then generate the revenue from that, and then it'll go into a holding account where we'll have the revenue, and it'll just kind of pile up, and then biannually we'll kick it out as a dividend disbursement to the stakeholders, and that's through people that are staking their coins on our platform. That's going to give us it's kind of an incentive, right? So if you stake your coins on Saitama, that you're automatically entitled to, a portion of the revenue based on the percentage of circulating supply that you put into this, the stake mechanism. So from a compliance and regulatory tax issues, what we'll probably end up doing, and we may venture aside from this, depending on what our legal team tends to be more beneficial for us, is we'll have a actual S corp that we're going to incorporate with it. So right now we have a holding company and an LLC. So it's Sata Realty LLC and a holding company with that. That's separate from Saitama LLC. It's Saitama is the parent, parent company rather. So what we'll end up doing is probably migrating it to a S corp, which will allow us to get the dividend out. So it'll be almost like a 1099 to where you're a shareholder, and then the revenue received will be kind of like a taxable thing. You'll get just like you would be if you were sitting in or you're a stakeholder or shareholder for a company that gave dividend. It's the same concept. So what that looks like, we'll have more information on as we go along because there's a couple different options that we're looking at. It just depends on, from a tax purposes and a compliance regulatory matter, how we kind of move forward with it. So we have a couple options, and we have an entire compliance legal team working on that right now to just do things the right way. So we have a few different options right now.
Yeah. So the follow on that. So as part of that, because like an S corp, looking at the IRS.gov site, an S corp is limited to without an exception is limited to 100 principal stakeholders. So in other words, that would be the parent, and then possibly Saitama LLC and the holding company, or whatever, however it works exactly, would be the principal stakeholders underneath of that S corp, because that's where the dividends would go, right? And then the staking would at that point essentially be coming from an LLC wallet, not directly from the S corp, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So the holding company and the holding account will go to a specific bank account that's linked to that, not an actual currency wallet or like an actual wallet address. It'll be a physical bank account that the holding company holds, and that's where the revenue will go into. And then at that point, depending on what we want to do, it may be beneficial for us to then purchase like a stable coin like USDT strictly from that account and disperse it to everybody's wallets and have it be a trackable event that way through the IRS, or we may have to actually cut physical checks. There's a couple different options. Like I said, we're working with our legal team to try to figure out what the best suitable option is moving forward for that. But whatever it is going to be the most beneficial to not only us, but to also the holders, people that are staking their coins or stakeholders. So,
All right. Hey,
but
thanks so
yeah,
much. And I know you're still working through the legal part, so we're looking forward to more information as that progresses. But thanks so much for having me up.
yeah, no, absolutely. No, and these are good questions. And then these are all things that we've been kind of working on like the last couple months with our legal team and our compliance, firm to try to figure out how we're going to do it the right way, right? Because we don't want it to be an issue like a year down the road where we're like, oh, hey, we're looking at the IRS and like, oh, you guys didn't report all this stuff, and you have a holdings account and you have, shareholders or stakeholders that you're supposed to be, giving out dividends to. So this is because it's so new, we don't have anything that we can mirror, right? We're like creating this whole new entity. So we're kind of having to reinvent the wheel a little bit. So we're trying to just do things that make the most sense that we're also in compliance with at the same time. Like we're kind of in uncharted waters here, so we're wanting to make sure that we're looking at multiple different angles to make sure that obviously we're not only in regulations and compliance with everything, but it's most beneficial to the holders as well.
All right. Hey, thanks, Russ.
Something to consider, and just more of a suggestion, just based on the ecosystem that we're working on my project. I mean, a DAO might be an interesting instrument to have in that ecosystem where there would be any dividends. I don't know if the team has considered that. I just want to throw it out there as an idea for the future, but yeah.
Yeah, no, actually that was something we were looking at also as a DAO. So there is, like I said, there's a lot of different things that we're trying to kind of look at as a broad perspective and like how we're going to operate moving forward. Like we just, like for example, like we're in the process of migrating our LLC from, Boston to Delaware, and we're doing a lot of different things just to kind of get ahead of the game. And as I perceive this year, 2022, being a lot more regulations and compliance, legal laws and stuff coming down regarding crypto, not just Saitama, but as a whole, especially in the U.S. I know that the SEC manager right now is very big into putting compliance and regulatory stuff in crypto. So we kind of see that happening very quickly this year. So we're wanting to be one step ahead, right? We don't want to be playing catch up. We can anticipate there being some changes this year. We want to make sure that we're right along with those changes and doing everything that we want to do or need to do rather.
Hey Russ, I got 2 questions from the community.
Yeah.
So just like Uniswap, are we going to be able to adjust our GWEI on SataMask as well? That's one.
Yeah, no, that should be on there to be able to adjust your not the slippage tolerance, but the gas speed.
Okay.
So
And then I got one more question. I don't know if you could answer this. How does impermanent loss work with SataMask? Since we are paired with Saitama and say Saitama drops significantly, which means liquidity drops, then the pairing price would drop significantly too. Wouldn't there be a much larger loss than other swaps because we don't have a wrapped Saitama?
yeah, I mean, so it's the same concept when you're dealing with Ethereum, right? So because of the pairing and its uniqueness, so if for example, on Uniswap right now, Saitama's paired with Ethereum. So if Ethereum price drops like it has the last few months, in retrospect, Saitama's price without any buys or sells also drops because in theory, one Ethereum is equivalent to one Saitama. So when that price fluctuates, it goes hand in hand. But now when you're dealing with SataMask, we aren't okay. I'm trying to figure out the best way to explain it. So, for example, the Mandox coin, right? It's on there. If Saitama price devalues and goes down, it doesn't mean that coin value is going to go down because it's not on our blockchain. It's still on the ERC20 blockchain. So it's not dependent on our price. It's dependent on the Ethereum price. Now, if Saitama price goes down and the other coin that you're swapping for stays the same, that just means that you have to spend more Saitama to get that amount of coins or less. Does that kind of make sense? Like the two aren't, they're not tied that way because they're on one single blockchain. They're based on the Ethereum network. You know what I mean? So it depending on when you actually do that swap is going to depend on how much or how little of the other coin you get.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. I was trying to figure out the best way to explain that, but hopefully.
And it really has to do when you take out, right? When you take out and how the market conditions are as well. And just for anyone listening, look up Bancor, Bancor, as examples of what permanent loss is and what protections are set in place. And Max isn't here, so maybe that's a question that when Max is back on the technical side, we could talk about permanent loss strategies and stuff.
Yeah, no, and that's something that he would probably be able to give you a little bit better example. I'm just trying to think about the pairing simulation and how that works. It's not they're not tied, together because we don't have our own blockchain, so it's not an actual, pairing, so to speak. It's a swap feature. So the price is they don't really dictate. The only thing that the price has to play with is how many coins you're swapping for. So say Tom is a worth class, obviously you have to swap more to get the other coin. But if you know what I mean. So when you swap back, yeah, it's the same thing as swapping on any other token platform. But with the impermanent loss, we're not tied. We're all a part of the ERC20 blockchain until we create our own. So that kind of dictates that, not the Saitama price, but the actual Ethereum price. Let me see if we can get up here. Mr. Burt. Had your hand up for a while. You requested. What's going on, man?
Yeah, one more because the community keeps on hitting my DMs and retweeting my tweets and then posting up there. I'm an exchange junkie. I love exchanges. I was gonna ask him myself, but I guess they want to know what's the next exchange, and they keep talking about Binance for some reason. I don't know if you can talk about that, Russ. Thank you, man. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, so exchanges, we're essentially launching our own decentralized exchange, but I've always, been an advocate. Let's take it back. I've never been a huge advocate for centralized exchanges just because I don't like the way they function. I don't like the work. But I do understand that a lot of people feel more comfortable swapping and exchanging and buying and selling on centralized exchanges. So we want to make Saitama available on every centralized exchange out there so that anybody and everybody can buy it, regardless of their knowledge of crypto and whatever platform they feel most comfortable in using. So we have, some exchanges that will list us, once we have our platform fully functional. There isn't a platform or a centralized exchange out there that I see won't want to list us because, again, we are a top ranked meme coin and we're not even really a meme coin, right? We have actual value and utility. So I think actually we get our use case deployed and we start owning the market more than we already do, and our volume is steady like it is. We do over 5 million to 20 million per day. So we have a ton of volume, and that's all they really care about at the end of the day, right? Is volume, because that's how they make their money on withdrawals, deposits, and swaps. So yeah, so they'll definitely want to get their hands in the cookie jar, I'm sure of it. So they're all, honestly, I think they're all just kind of like some of the tier one exchanges. I think they're all just kind of waiting to see like who's going to make the first leap. They're gonna be like, okay, it's not gonna be us. It's gonna be you. Like, who's gonna list Saitama first? And then once one does, I promise you, the rest will fall suit. Like, they'll be like, okay, they're going there. So whoever is gonna be first, I'm not,
Yeah, I know, Russ. I tell my investors also. I don't mean to cut you off. You're right, and it's just the patience game right now. We're just waiting, pretty much.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they have our information. They all know who we are. Trust me. If you guys don't think that Binance and KuCoin, all these other exchanges don't have some Saitama on their platform, yeah, they do. They all have some. They all know who we are. They've been keeping a close eye. I promise you. They probably even got people in this room right now. Like, their job is to kind of get a feel for the community and kind of track our progress and see what we got going on. Because when the time is right, they can be okay. Now it's time. Let's go ahead and do it. They got our application. They, so to speak, they have our number. Right? They know where to reach us. So they yeah, like I said, I think it's just a matter of who wants to, pull the trigger first, and the rest will follow suit. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm just trying to look in here and see some people I haven't had on here before. SLE. Did I get that right? If I call on you guys, and if you're already up here as a speaker, you can ask your questions, and I'm just gonna bring a few people up. So I'll add.
I did notice this.
What's
Has anybody else noticed this trend on Twitter? Saitama comes out, everybody on Twitter turns into a app developer. Saita Realty comes out, and everybody's a real estate attorney. Has anybody else noticed that same trend? I mean, I've caught myself doing it too, like talking about the app, and I'm not an app developer, but I mean, I noticed that happening, and I'm like, wait a minute, maybe we should stay on our lanes and just let them do their thing.
Yeah, no, yeah, I've noticed that too. Like I've come on here and jokingly said it a few times too. Like I didn't realize how many attorneys we had in the community, and how many app developers, and how many, experts in the field we have. Like, man, I didn't realize that. But yeah, it's true. It's like, oh, and like I said, it kind of goes back to me saying like I accept criticism, because you never know. Like people could bring up things that you never really thought about before. There's always a better way to do something. I don't think that we've figured out the solution to every single problem on the planet. There's always room for, to make things better. There's always room for improvement, and criticism is accepted, right? I take criticism, very seriously if it's something that needs to be taken seriously. But yeah, I think everybody's all of a sudden like overnight turned into an app developer, yeah, or a real estate developer or attorney or whatever else is. I think we've seen a lot of that. And most of that, I just look at it and laugh, because I'm not an expert by any means, but I do have a fairly good working knowledge, in a lot of different things. That's what happens when you work in business and you've been on this planet for 40 years. You tend to see a few things, and then a lot of times I look at it, I'm like, that's not even like, that doesn't even make sense. It's not even remotely accurate, like whatsoever. But you just kind of got to take a look at it and take everything in stride. Like, okay, well, but if it's something legit and there's actual, cause for concern, then normally I'll address it, or at least say something in those regards. But so I called a few people up for, if you guys want to ask a question or whatever. We'll do a few more questions, and hopefully I was able to answer most everybody's.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Can I sneak in right quick?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Hey, how's it going, Russ?
Good.
Man, listen, I think it's my first time actually being able to speak on a Saitama space that you are a part of.
Yeah, I'm trying to get people up here that I see in the space, but I haven't had a chance to call on yet. So
yes, man. Listen, I have a lot of statement to make, but I do have two questions. My first question is, does Saitama have a marketing wallet? I mean, obviously, most of us know that, but I want to hear this. And I have my second question is going to come right after your answer.
Sure. So our marketing wallet consists of my personal wallet, Aaron's personal wallet, Max's personal wallet, Gabe, MK, and Nam. Those are our marketing wallets. And when I say personal wallets, that's exactly what they are. They're personal wallets that we injected our own money into, Saitama, that we've bought on the dips, just like you guys. I'm a developer, but I'm also an investor, right? If Saitama's in a dip, like, I'll buy it because I know where it's gonna go. I'm not buying it with anybody else's money but my own. Right? Like, nobody gives me money. I make my own money, and I invest just like everybody else. So I've been in business long enough to know that, like, it takes money to make money, and I'm okay with shoveling out some cash to do some marketing with, to go travel somewhere, right? And even to Dubai, like, we paid for the expo out of our own pocket. I just purchased my ticket to go to Dubai out of my own pocket. Mr. Al-Flassi was generous enough to put a room bank together for some of the developers and some of the community. But everything else is expensed 100% by the development team. We don't ask for donations. We don't have really any revenue stream, and we sure as heck don't have a marketing wallet. Because if you guys would have known, our tax has been the same. Our transaction tax is the burn, and it's a reflection, and that is it.
So I asked that question because I wanted to figure out, because there's a lot of things we see on the space. I'm a YouTuber myself. I started vouching for Saitama very early. I invested in Saitama in July the 14th of this last year, And but as I started talking about Saitama, and got a lot of people on. I actually built my YouTube channel with mostly Saitama holders, and I was happy about it. That was the first time I actually saw $100,000. Like I know what that looked like to own $100,000 because of Saitama. And this is the reason why mostly I really cannot get the idea in my head to sell my position, because I know it's all about position. I got in early, I'm gonna maintain my position. But I've heard a lot of stuff and relating to Saitama, and I cannot. It's not that I don't believe it. It's just I need more proof as to what you're telling me about. And I've lived through the era of SHIB, and I know what SHIB went through. Unfortunately, I didn't invest enough into SHIB, but SHIB taught me quite a bit to know what I should do with Saitama. I've heard so much, and you won't believe it because I sit down with so many different developers, different projects, because I do mostly AMAs on my channel. I think about 20, 25, 30 projects right now. And I hear so many things. And my only question is the fact that I've never heard anybody say is the fact that how are you guys paying with all of these things that you're doing? Where's this money coming from? There's no marketing wallet. And that's one thing that I want everybody to listen to. Like, because I've heard people that come at me and says, "Hey, man, money's come out from this, money's coming out from this. Dev is selling their tokens." But I'm thinking to myself, like, well, there's no marketing wallet. Where are they getting this money from? If there's not a certain way that they have to figure out to pay for some of these things, how are we expecting them to pay for some of these things? And I've always tell people, no project is perfect, but at least we know from SHIB, for the people that have been through that era, from SHIB, there's been a lot of FUD, there's been a lot of different scenarios because at the end of the day, we're going somewhere that nobody has ever been. All the people that claim to be specialists in their space, crypto is in a different space. Everybody that's doing things like we do, we got Seda Realty. There has never been any laws that's been put together for Seda Realty, for real estate to merge into crypto. Even with the Seda Mask, there's no laws. So everything has to be created from scratch. And this is what causes me to hold. It's not the fact that I don't have my doubts on a certain aspect. It's the fact that I have something to back it up with. It's the fact that this era that we're living in right now in crypto, it is unheard of. We've never lived through that. So anybody can come out here and try to act like you a specialist because at the end of the day, there has not been a guideline to follow. And for you to make a statement saying this is my thing is, I've always tell my wife this: is it I'm gonna go to zero with my Saitama bag, or it's gonna make me rich? Because at the end of the day, it's like everybody that's on Twitter that's tweeting, you have no clue. None of these people know what they're talking about. You could follow a wallet. You could say this person is spending this money, that money. At the end of the day, you have no clue because where we heading with crypto, it has never been before. And I thank you guys for giving me a chance to speak. And I really wanted to say this. And my personal point of view about Saitama and about a lot of different projects that's coming out is right now is just it's either you believe or you don't believe, but there's no proof as to where everything is going. But one of the things I can salute you guys on, you guys actually dropped the app and it's out here.
Yeah, they didn't. No, and you're 100%. Like there isn't a plan to mimic, right? Like it's never been done before. Like yeah, I mean there's swaps out there, right? Like, yeah, I mean there's Uniswap, there's Sushi Swap, there's Shiba Swap, there's tons of swaps out there. So the decentralized aspect of it and having a decentralized swap mechanism, yeah, you can do it and you can mimic it because it's been done. But the things that we are doing have never been done. Like we are creating it as we go. It's not like we're going on to a mobile app developer website and saying, "Hey," and you're plugging in some APIs and you're like, "Okay, this is what we want to create. Do it for us." Right? It doesn't work that way. Because they would look at it like, "Okay, well, we have to create this from scratch." Like, okay, well, we are creating these things from scratch. There is no model that we can replicate. As in regards to like State of Realty, this has never been done before. We have a ton of attorneys that are on our staff, and we're having to go to all of them like, okay, this is what we need to do, and we're doing our research, and they're doing their due diligence as well to make sure that we are in compliance and doing things the way that we need to, because we're essentially creating something that's never ever been done before. Will there be duplicates of what we're doing now? Promise you. In the next couple of years, there will be so many other coins out there that are trying to duplicate our success and trying to duplicate what we've already done, and that's okay. But we are always and will always be the pioneer in the space regarding this platform and what we're putting out and the things that we're doing. But in hindsight, there's going to be some drawbacks to it, because when you're creating something from scratch and that's never been done before, you're going to have to kind of learn as you go, and create things on the fly a little bit, so to speak. So we're doing it so people will also kind of learn from our mistakes too, and be like, oh well, Saitama had an issue with front run bots when they put their platform out. So now, if another coin comes out and wants to initiate and create a swap feature, they can be like, okay, well, the bar has already been set. Right? Saitama created this decentralized platform, put a swap mechanism in there, found out a way to mitigate bot and front run bots and sniper bots. So now we also have to, right? Because that's the standard, and it should be the standard, and always should have been the standard, but it's not. So in a sense, we're setting a standard for everybody moving forward to really pioneer the space in the first, right off the bat from the get-go. So for people to say like, oh well, it's easy and it's easy to do. Well, it's not, because there's nothing to follow. There isn't a creating a swap feature for dummies book out there. Right? You can't just Google and be okay, how do I create something out of nothing? Right? How do we solve an issue in crypto because crypto is so new? Or how do we mimic the success of one coin versus another? People try it all the time. How many new coins are launched every single day? How many of those will you actually hear about 3 months from now? I promise you, not very many. So you can't duplicate success. And if you want to create something organic and want to create something special, you have to do it in your own, and you're on your own terms, and you have to make sure that you do it right. And that's all we've really tried to do from the beginning, is to create something unique and special, and not just for ourselves, but for everybody in the crypto space, like people that are investors now, and people that will invest in Saitama in the future. People that are in now, you're just in really early. That's all it is. So if you get in early on something, you have the best potential to make the most gains from it. But we'll be increasing holders from now until the end of time. Like that's the idea. So everybody here is just in a really good opportunity to just make money, which is great. Because I think aside from all the crazy, wonderful things we're trying to do, at the end of the day, we want to create something successful, and we want people to make money off it too, right? That's why we all invest. Um, all the other stuff is second nature, and it's great. But yeah, to have the value of the coin increase and to create some financial independence is what we're all here for. I feel like, I have that now. I think I've said it a few times, I could have retired a long time ago, but what am I going to do? Like, this is something I enjoy doing. I'm very passionate about it. And, it gives us an opportunity to do that. But yeah, as far as like a marketing and stuff goes, it's always been like that. If you guys had any idea the amount of money that I've put out of my own pocket into Saitama and creating partnerships and doing this platform, just our subscription services alone, like for email registrations and all that stuff that we have incorporated, all the different, engineers that we brought on to this project, unlike Max, he works for free just like me, but some of the other guys that we had to help come in and bring in, help code it, like these guys, they don't work for free. Like we have to pay them. Like not everybody does things for free 24/7 like we do. Other people want to get paid for services, and some of the stuff's non-negotiable. A lot of the marketing and stuff we've gotten at a better cost because they're Saitama holders, but it still costs. It still costs money. And Aaron's putting together a deal right now. It's a 7-figure deal. Like, where do you think that 7 figures is going to come from? It's going to come from us, the development team, and that's okay, because you know what? If it's something we can put together that's going to drive this token to where we want it to go, then I don't care what it costs. I don't care. I'm very humble, and I know, oh, okay, I drive a Lamborghini, but so what? I got enough money, I can do whatever the hell I want with. But that's mine. Like, I earned it my whole life. I could have 10 freaking Lamborghinis if I wanted to, but it doesn't mean I am. You know what I mean? And it's not because I'm a Saitama developer. It's because I'm a hard worker. And I put 4 years on this planet making a business and a name for myself to do whatever I wanted to do. I could have retired, but I don't. So I'm here. And that's what we're doing. We're pushing this thing to the limits and creating our own path moving forward. And we want to do that on our own recognizances. It's not, I see some of these other tokens that are out there that got 15 to 20% tax. Like, that's crazy. I wish we had a 20% tax and a 10% marketing wallet. We could buy a damn football team if we had that kind of money. But we got to do things the old-fashioned way. That's okay, because you do it the old-fashioned way, it's more organic and it's earned, right? You got to make those partnerships. You can't buy loyalty in this space, right? You can't buy, your spot on the pecking chart, right? You got to earn that shit. So, that's what we do. And we put up the fight and we do things the old fashioned way, man. That's how good business is made. And more importantly, that's how sustainable business is made. You can, if we had like a 10% marketing wallet, right? And we generated, $10 million a month. Yeah, we could do crazy things. We could buy a football team. We could, have Saitama logo on every bus stop, around the United States. But what good does that do if nobody believes in the project? If it's not done organically, if it's not done with purpose, if it's not done with passion, nobody gives a shit, right? I mean, there's been so many friends out there, I think, that have a huge marketing wallet that do just crazy marketing schemes, and it's so ineffective. Like, why? Why isn't it effective? Like, why? For example, if I had somebody that had 30 million followers on Twitter or Instagram, and I was like, hey, here's $500,000. Talk about Saitama. I'm like, do you tie that person to crypto? Like, is he known as an actor or an actress? Would you go to that person for financial advice on when to invest? No, absolutely not. You'd be like, hold on a second, man. Like, you were just making movies. Now all of a sudden you're a financial advisor? No, that stuff does not work in crypto. It doesn't. So that's all money wasted. So again, we just have to be very particular in how we do our marketing because we're on a very tight budget. So if it's something that makes sense for us to do, it has to make so much sense that we're willing to pay for it out of our own pocket. And you guys will see it. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out that's going to kind of make sense. And I've said it a million times in the past, like everything that we do is very strategic. Believe it or not, we do know a little bit about what we're doing in this space. So yeah, we're pretty excited. I know Aaron's got a very established marketing plan for us for 2022, and we've given you guys a few hints here and there and stuff like that. I know we did the fight on Saturday, but it was not really about the fight, right? Obviously, Islam, he's a great fighter. He's gonna be the next world champ, but we legally couldn't have Saitama logo on any of his shorts because Crypto.com owns that contract with the UFC, right? If we were to try to slap a Saitama logo on his shorts, we would be in so much legal trouble. They would all come for us and be like, no, you guys can't do this. Crypto.com owns that contract. Venom owns that contract. You guys are in violation of X, Y, Z, and we would be in court before the week was out, right? So what does that mean? That means that we have to take advantage on different areas, and have him as an actual brand promoter that he can be promoting his brand. And as he gets more exposure, right, because he'll probably be next up for a title fight, you don't think that there's going to be a lot of eyes on him doing his training complexes, doing all these different things? Just since that fight on Saturday, he's probably gained tons of exposure. So now people are going to start to look like this is going to be the next world champ, right? So now when he's in a training complex with Saitama gear, that's how that works. That's how marketing is effective. It's repetitive. It's not a one and done. It's repetitive marketing. So now you see that person wearing a Saitama logo now, and then you see him again wearing a Saitama logo next week, and then all of a sudden you got this title fight rolling around, and they're doing weigh-ins, they're doing everything else, and that's all you see is the Saitama logo. That's how effective marketing is done, right? That's the concept and the genuine concept behind it. And there's going to be much more to come with that. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but just to kind of give you guys an idea, because I did see some people like, oh, how come we didn't have, Saitama logo center ring? It's like, well, we don't own the UFC. Like Crypto.com paid hundreds of millions of dollars for that spot. Like, we don't have a marketing wallet. We can't pay hundreds of millions of dollars. Although it would be nice, and we'll get there, and we got something coming up for that too. But anyways, we'll talk about that later on. Let's see if we can get else. We'll do a couple more questions. I know I said that like 30 minutes ago. But.
Hey
Good.
Russ, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, what's that mean?
Hey, it's a question about Saitama, and I've seen it with other people's too. Having the same error. I imported my wallet, and I had some like random coin that I bought a while back. I got rid of it, but I only had like 1,000 coins. But for some reason, Saitama, I don't know where it's pulling the price from, but it's my account says that I have like $75 million, which I don't. And I've seen it with with different tokens too. So I don't know if this is something that you can ask Max to see if why it's doing that.
Yeah, so I know like the price index, like we pull from Dex, right? So the price index comes from one platform. So whenever you see a price, it's pulled out the Dex and it automatically refreshes. So how come it shows on there on our platform for like millions of dollars? It's probably a Dex issue, but I'll ask Max and see. I know that he did say once we inject liquidity, the pricing will show up how it's supposed to. Right now, because there's no liquidity and it's pulling the information from Dex, it's not really reading correctly. But as we inject the liquidity on there, it should show the proper amounts all over the place, regardless of what coins you have. So I know that was part of the issue in not having the liquidity injected on there yet, but it should be good to go. But I'll ask him about it just to make sure. I know that like some of the dust tokens and stuff aren't on there because we pull the information from other platforms. So that should be fine. It shouldn't migrate over there.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. But I call a few other people up here. You guys can just hop on if you have a question. I don't remember who I brought on here now, but Junior Flow. There you go. Damn, Daniel. I'm just gonna add a couple more people on here. So if you guys have a question and get connected, go ahead and hop on up, man. Okay. Last one. Sergio was the last one I'm gonna add up here. So the few people I added up, if you guys got a question, go ahead. We'll do a couple more
Hey,
questions,
Russ.
then I gotta go.
How are you doing, man?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. First of all, I want to thank you so much for everything you and the guys do. It's absolutely incredible, and it's also very awesome to see your guys' transparency on how you do everything. I think it's something that is awesome to see in the crypto space, and I truly, truly, truly appreciate you and thank you guys for all of that. My question is, so I know that we all know we need retail investors in order for us to be able to actually push this forward. And with all of these issues we have had in the past, I know that a lot of people who don't know as much about this have been going away, leaving us. So what is the strategy for us to gain all of those retail investors back? Thank you.
Awesome, man. Yeah, so I mean, realistically, this is how crypto works for the most part, right? People very rarely buy on the dip. And as much as it makes sense to do from an investment standpoint, is to buy like when the price is down. Nobody really wants to buy when the price is down. Human nature tells us to buy when it's being hyped, right? Like people buy coins that are just mooning, right? And that's the exact opposite, really, of what you want to do in order to make money in this space. So now that we have our platform rolling out, we'll have the kind of narrative change and the momentum shifting back in our direction. We'll start stacking up green days. Right? We'll start stacking up positive days on the chart. And once this kind of happens, the overall atmosphere in Saitama, the trust value, the kind of the right direction and the movement and the charts that we want to be heading will be there. And with that will come not only some of the investors that maybe lost a little bit of faith, but it kind of regains the confidence of crypto in general, right? And people that see the price action starting to move in the proper direction are like, okay, I was waiting for Saitama to kind of make a move in the right direction, and now we want to go ahead and get on board. So that's how crypto works, unfortunately. The people that buy on the dip, yeah, just a second. People that buy on the dip are the ones that make the money, but most of the time,
the expo event on that because I couldn't find it. I'm actually trying to attend a couple of my buddies and just trying to figure out if we can get that date if you do know it. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, just a second, Dan. Yeah, just so people know that's how crypto works, man. That's people always buy in the green and they sell in the red for whatever reason, which is the exact opposite of how you actually make money in this space.
For
So now we
sure.
got some voter confidence back in. We got investor confidence back in. We'll start stacking up some green days. The FOMO kicks in. I mean, that's why they call it FOMO, right? It's the fear of missing out. And like, man, this thing's really starting to pump. Time to get back on board. So that's kind of what we'll do. Then to answer your question, let me look at the dates on here. So the expo is March 16th and 17th. So it's both days. It'll be 2 full days, 16th and 17th. I don't know the exact hours, but that's what the dates are for March. I think it's a Wednesday, Thursday.
Hey Russ, what's up, my man? It's
Hey,
Junior
how we
here
doing?
from Brazil speaking. How you doing?
Good, yourself?
I'm great, man. I just came by to say that it was a great space. I was just listening to all you had to say. Once again, you're just transparent with everything, and that's why we investors trust the project. That's why we trust Saitama, and I just can't wait to invest in Saita Realty. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be amazing. Just came by to say good night for everyone and amazing AMA.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I mean, we have so many things lined up for this year. It's just crazy. Like, it's mind blowing to think about all the things that we got going on all at the same time. So now it's just about delivering. And I think everybody here could probably be in agreement with that. We just got to get this thing out, move forward, and change the momentum, change the narrative, get it out, give these,
Yes,
yeah,
we
that's right. It's been
we
a
that have
ride, man.
a few years in the crypto space. We've seen a few things with other projects. We know, we're sure where Saitama is gonna go, and I'm pretty sure you know. I'm pretty sure you're a big time investor, like you said before. And I just got like more than 20 friends to invest. Actually, my family all is pretty much investing in. That's how much I believe in the project. And I just wanted to say thanks, man. I mean, after all that's happened, whoever is old in the game know what happened to Binance, to Coinbase, to Shiba Swap. They all had problems, or they all had been through FUD. Everyone said that they weren't going to go anywhere, and they're huge projects now. So I ain't got no doubt in the future we're going to be sitting, why not, even on top of that, you know? So congratulations, keep it up the good work, the transparency, and the positivity that you have just going through, even with all the FUD. Sometimes we know things happen like not our way, not like we expected. It's a new journey for everyone, but you just handling great. As an investor, I've been holding since July, and I tell you, I more than doubled my bag to now, and I just gotta say thank you, man. Keep it up.
Yeah, no, and honestly, yeah, I mean, I'm an investor just like you guys. Like, we weren't the original deployers of the contract, so I wasn't handed any coins. So I have a good sized bag of Saitama, and I'm still growing on it. And people are like, oh, well, did you pull profit in November? Nope, not even a penny. Like, well, why not? You have millions of dollars. Like, I don't need the money, but again, I know where this is gonna go. Like, why would I sell now? Right? Because I know where it's going to go. And if I didn't sell then, I sure shit ain't selling now. Like, it doesn't make any sense for me to do it. And, it's so early on, like 8 months. It's like basically, like I said, selling like a Binance or a very successful coin in an early on stages. There's going to be so many what if stories floating around the internet, in the years to come. Like, now you see them, people are like, oh, I'm glad I sold my Bitcoin when it was at $9. Like, oh, I'm so glad I sold my Saitama coin when it was at, 6 zeros or 7 zeros. Like, man, if I would have just held on to my trillions, I'd be a billionaire or something. Like, yeah, well, I mean, coulda, woulda, shoulda. But we've been in this space, and a lot of people, if you're new, use this as a heat of advice, or if you're an old salty vet like myself, been in crypto for a while, and you've heard enough stories. And trust me, I've made the mistakes too. Like, I've sold coins way too early, and I've just watched them go straight up, and I'm like, man, I wish I wouldn't have sold that. Like, even early on, I could have invested in Bitcoin way earlier, in Ethereum less than 1,000, less than 500. You know, even like with Shiv and some other one, like I've made the mistake and I will never make that again. Like I've been around long enough now to know you get into a good project, you buy in early and you just sit on your hands. And that is the best and honest to God truth on how to make money in crypto. Do not let your emotions get involved and just invest into solid projects and just sit on your hands. Like it could go down 50%, up 150, because it doesn't matter. Crypto is so revolutionary and it's just so early on that I don't care what coin you invest in. It doesn't even have to be a Saitama. It could be any good quality project out there. I promise you, you will make money in the years to come because if you just sit on it, and I'm not even speaking about this, just in general, crypto market in general is going to go up. If we look at all the catalysts crypto's had over the last couple of years in comparison to where it was in 2015, 16, or even as recent as 2019, it's the growth rate has just been tremendous. And as we start to proceed and get some more compliance regulations behind it, more countries, more people are accepting of it, and we get mass adoption, everybody's just going to make a ton of money in crypto. And you hear these stories now. How long do you think it's going to take for that to circulate around the world? These stories of success, of people making money in crypto. Nobody wants to lose out on an opportunity. And there's so much opportunity in this space right now that it is going to just flood the masses like crazy.
And one of the things I noticed, Russ, is I think people only now are starting to really understand utility. I think the gut reaction that people have is, oh, can I use this token to transact goods and services? And even with Saitama, I mean, it's setting a precedent in that it's giving people an opportunity to see that utility is so much more. Like you can strengthen liquidity pools in multiple ways. And I think as that education takes place, you know, they're going to know why they're holding more so, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the utility comes into play as well. Like when you're looking at the longevity of a project, like there's opportunities in crypto to make money on a daily basis, and there's opportunity to make money long term. It just depends on what kind of investor you are. You know, if you're looking to, you know, double your bag and make a quick profit, then yeah, there's meme coins that are launched all day long. Get in early, sell it, who cares? Make a couple bucks. Or if you're a long-term investor and you don't have the patience to sit and watch decks 24/7, and you invest in their project and you forget about it, and you follow up and see how they're doing and progressing, and you're looking at the use case and how it's being deployed and what the coin's actually doing. You look at the roadmap, and you know you're in a good spot. So how you invest, that's the beauty of it, because you can invest however you feel like it. You can be a day trader, you can be a swing trader, you can be a long-term holder. It just depends on how much time, energy, and effort you want to put into it. But at the end of the day, you know, the coins like Saitama and the other ones that are out there that have true use case and that are going to benefit the space and that will actually do something with it are the ones that are going to be successful. But the other ones will always be there too. So there's tons of ways to make money, and it's all about how you want to invest.
What is so crazy, man, is I don't understand why people think they like can make millions within 6 months, 8 months, where back in the real world, investments take years to make any profit. Warren Buffett invest for at least 10 years, and I don't understand why there is this sentiment that, oh, I just put $1,000 into into Saitama today, tomorrow I will be a millionaire. Like that like that really doesn't happen on a serious project. Now maybe it can like happen if you are lucky at the casino, if you are lucky with any token who can maybe do that and then dump. Yes, but like in the real world, serious projects take a long time. I had a company. After 4 years, I shut it down. I couldn't make it, and hey, it happens. Right now, I'm again back up, and that's why I have so much patience. It's like I don't care. It can go down, it can go up. Like I don't have feelings anymore in that sense. And when it goes down, to me, it's a good news actually. I'm like, oh crap, I can buy some more, and I just buy some more. It's like it's a sell price, but there is this sentiment of like people just want to be millionaires tomorrow, where 93% never make it to millionaires. So everything takes time.
No, it does, and people that you know that may not have a lot of experience in investing or anything like that. So I mean, I own a good amount of real estate, and you have to understand, like, even real estate is very lucrative, but you have to anticipate maybe like a 5 to 10% margin increase per year, and that's pretty standard. That's normal. That's like a good year, right? If I buy a property and it increases the equity holding in 5% every year, that's good. 25% ROI in 5 years is solid. I mean, that's good return on your money. In crypto, yeah, if you invest $1,000 and think you're going to be a millionaire tomorrow, you may get lucky, but you have to think, like, you have to buy a coin that has a $1 million market cap, right? You get in the first 100 holders, and you hold it in hopes that 6 months from now, and it ain't going to be tomorrow, but 6 months or a year from now, it reaches a $1 billion market cap or a $5 billion market cap. So you bought it at a 1 million and you turn it, it got to, but how many coins out there that actually reach a $10 billion market cap? And how many of them actually reach that amount in a decent amount of time? We're talking about
Exactly.
years of consolidation to get to that point. No coin out there gets from a $1 million market cap to a $10 billion market cap in that amount of time. Unless you're Saitama and you go from a $1 million market cap to a $16 billion market cap in 8 months, then that's a very, very rare occasion. But for the most part, you have to, it takes time. And investing in all of the different investments I've ever done, whether it be stocks, Roth IRA, CDs, real estate, there is no other viable option out there legally to make as much money or increase your holding or to make that kind of money in a short amount of time as there is in crypto. But to say that it can be duplicated easily is false. It's very, very hard to do. The best thing to do is just to buy in early and get into a project that you know is going to do well and hold on to it and just wait. But even if it takes a year, I promise you, your ROI in 1 year is going to be so much more than anywhere else. It's sure as shit going to be better than sitting and letting it sit in a savings account where you're getting 0.0001%. And you could take $1 million and put it into a high interest earning account and still get less than 1%. Then you know what I mean? And by the time you paid tax and capital gains on that $1 million, you may have profited like $5,000. Like it's total waste. But I promise you that bank probably flipped your $1 million and made $6 million and kicked you back $1,000. And you probably got maybe discount on your insurance or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's a good space to be in. And crypto's so young, and it's very for as volatile as it is, it's high risk, high reward. But it's worth it. And the best way to do it is just sit on your hands. I mean, like I said, unless you're a different trader and you day trade or swing trade or whatever, and to each their own. Like I really don't care. People have been successful both ways, but I've also seen it go the other way. People that try to swing trade and things like that, and it doesn't work out because you never know. That coin that you sold at the bottom because you were thinking it was going to dip a little bit more and you could get a little bit more and increase your position, it shoots right up and then you lost out and you lost your position. It's like I said, it happens all the time, but that's the volatility of the market, and that's but you learn. I mean, we're all kind of learning in this space. If anybody says they're an expert in crypto, they're full of crap. It hasn't been around long enough for anybody to be a true expert in a sense. You can say they're lucky. I mean, I'll buy that. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do one more question. I don't know if you guys got. Tommy Maxey's on here now. You got a question? And I got you skipped over you. So we'll do this the last question, and then I gotta go because I've been on here like a couple hours already.
I don't have a question. Russ, if you have Good Jacob, he has his hand up. If you want, you can let him go first, and then I just have a comment for you, and that's it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Hey, what's up, Russ? What's up, King JB and Big Wolfpack family? Hey, man, look, the only people as bullish as me, it seems like everywhere I go, they tell me I'm unrealistic and I'm crazy and all this kind of crap. And the only people that seem to agree with me are the dev team and people that surround the inner core of this project. Let me tell you something, dude. I just want to throw this out there, because I did the math the other day. $34 to $40 on October 26 in 2020 was worth $19.5 million approximately 1 year later. So, like you said, there's no experts, man. We just have awesome programmers, and you guys, your engineers and everything are just phenomenal. And I know this token. And I'm not a rich guy. I don't have trillions and trillions of tokens. I've got enough for me because I know what this thing's going to do. You know, I've been listening. I've been paying attention for the last year. You know, and
You know,
this,
you know why the people, you know why there's putters out there though. You're 100% right on that. You know, the reason why we get so much FUD. I mean, there's probably multiple reasons, but one of the biggest ones is because some of these guys that are FUDding, they probably don't hold any Saitama. They probably hold a shitload of some other coins, and they're like, you know what's going to happen when Saitama takes off? This guy's going to sell my coin, and they're going to go jump on this Saitama bandwagon, and here I am going to be holding this used bag of coins that aren't worth anything. Not to say they weren't worth anything, and I'm not trying to put other coins down. I'm just speaking very generally. That's what happens. Like people, they FUD success. The people generally do not want other people to succeed if they are not succeeding themselves, and it's not because they hate to see other people succeed. They just get very envious of that. And they're like, you know, I don't want to see anybody else do well because I'm not doing well. You know, and it's almost human nature, and it's sad to say this, but it's the truth. It's like a jealousy, and it's an envious thing, and that's why these things are sins, right? Jealousy and envy, they're there and they exist, and they definitely exist in crypto. They're, if not only that, they're magnified. So if I always think it as almost like you know, it's like a compliment. It's like if you're taking time out of your day to fund my project, that means that you are probably either jealous and envious of what we're trying to do, or you have some sort of alternative motive, because people don't generally just do that, right? Out of, you know, unless you just have a lot of free time. And if that's the case, then I'm jealous of you for having that much free time. But yeah, that's usually the way that it works, man. It's like we're gonna take some of this, you know, I'm afraid to say time, because we are, man. I'm not just saying that because I'm, you know, the developer on the project. Like if I was just an investor on the outside looking in and being a spectator in these AMAs and kind of looking at the roadmap and the, you know, figuring out and getting an idea of where this thing is gonna go, I'd be like, yeah, this thing is about to blow up. Like I'm gonna get in, like I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy the ride because this thing is on the verge of just totally making a breakout. And you can look at it from a TA perspective. You can, you know, add any kind of, you know, data, however you want to look into it, and see like it is literally right there at the explosion point. And I think a lot of people see that too. And there's a lot of outside people looking into Saitama right now with the exact same mind, like the exact same thought process, and like, you know what, this thing is about to blow up, and they're just kind of sitting waiting, from institutional money to, like I said, different centralized exchanges to large investors that are on the fence about meme coins in general or DeFi space in general, and they're like, you know what, let me take an, like, they don't care what the price is right now. You don't care when you're looking to dump a bunch of money into something because you know where it's going to go long term. So if it goes up 10%, 20%, you're not, that FOMO isn't gonna, it's not gonna bother you. But once the train really leaves the station, then I'm like, okay, this thing's for real. I'm getting on board.
oh my God, dude! I'll just say this one more thing. Look, did you guys? Just have to ask this because I don't know who to ask, but the SATA chain, is that what we're going to call it? And do you already have the team working on putting a patent on it? Because that to me is going to be nuclear.
Oh yeah, no, we're pushing out all kinds of patents because I mean we have so much different stuff. Like just the SATA chain will be our own blockchain. Our hardware wallet, which is going to revolutionize hardware wallets in itself, and we're pushing patents on all the stuff that we have. We're pioneering in the space, and we're trying to. Each individual thing is almost like a catalyst in its own. So yeah, that's why I say that, and not just from the, you know, inside looking outwards as a developer. And I have more insight obviously than you do. All I can try to do is like reiterate my sentiment on this project and where it's going to go. And try to like get other people involved without giving away the farm, of course. But yeah, we have patents on all that stuff, and that SATA chain, the blockchain that we're trying to push out. We got a whole team of engineers. Like we just actually brought in, I don't remember how many more we hired, but we brought in at least a few. I want to say like 5 to 10, I think, maybe in this last few weeks. So we'll continue to outsource and outscale and bring in more and more as we needed. But yeah, then there'll be a team designated to strictly just putting together and creating and coding our blockchain. So, and that's going to be huge in itself, because then we can dictate everything. We can make the fees smaller. We can have our own mining establishment. We can have all the different things that we need and create our own blockchain that's very unique to what we're trying to do, right? I feel like there's a lot of small issues, you know, on the ERC chain. Obviously, it's energy efficient, but the gas fees are just through the roof. There's a lot of things that we could fix, and that's progression. And the crypto is so new, you're going to have progression. You have to, right? Because look at how far it's progressed from the early Bitcoin days all the way to where we are now, and we're still uncovering things in crypto. There's still so many different things that can be perfected, things that can be changed that are more suitable for the investor, for the developer, you know, for everybody. And as we kind of broaden that scope a little bit, now we're looking at all the different things that occur on the blockchain with the NFTs, you know, with gaming, you know, with the education, things that we have uniquely on our platform that we can kind of mold the blockchain around what we need it to do. So some of the things that we're doing now, we have limitations with because we're at somebody else's mercy. We're at the ERC20 blockchain development, so we're kind of limited. We're having to put things in place to make it suitable for us. But when we create our own, we'll already know what we need. So we have our own internal roadmap, right? Okay, when we create our own blockchain, we already know that this is an issue that we ran into. So let's fix this. Let's make this a part of our, you know, our ecosystem. You know, like I said, for the even with the front run bots, if we had our own blockchain, that would never be an issue. So we had to take a couple weeks to mitigate that because it was an ongoing issue from a blockchain that we did not develop. We're just trying to fix that. And it's been the norm for so long that nobody really notices it. And if they don't notice it or do, they just don't care. It's not acceptable. Right? So there's certain things that you can do to kind of mitigate that, but I don't want to say it's laziness. It's just not proper business. So who's to say that, you know, that's been going on, it's supposed to be acceptable? Well, I mean, it's not. So these are just a lot of things that we're trying to, you know, incorporate into our own blockchain that will come with that. So I know I kind of got on a tangent there for a minute, but yeah, that's what it's going to be called. We got lots of engineers that were working on it. So hopefully sooner rather than later.
I appreciate it, big brother. Thank you, everybody, for letting me come on and talk. And I just want to tell everybody, look, man, not trying to be weird here, but I love each and every one of you, man. If you're still hanging in here, you got my respect. And as far as I'm concerned, the Wolfpack, nobody gets left behind. That's what some of these fools don't get. But we'll see you soon.
Absolutely, man. Nobody left behind. Yeah. I mean, we grow every day. Every day we get more and more people in the space. I see new people talking about Saitama. There's obviously more investors, more holders. Our holder count continues to increase, and that is bullish sentiment in itself. Right? You need to start worrying when your investors start to drop. Right? If you start with 1,000 holders and 2 weeks later you're sitting at 500, then you're in trouble. But that's my biggest like that's what I look for. Are we still gaining holders? Yes. Okay, we're in good shape. That means that people may have sold a little bit of their position, but they're still in the project because they know where it's going to go. You know, and then aside from that, we're gaining more and more investors, so we're strengthening our foundation. You know, anytime you have a project that like this one that went, like I said, from $1 million market cap to a $16 billion market cap, you're going to get a lot of people that made a lot of money, and that made us a little bit top heavy. We grew really, really, really fast. So now we're in that consolidation phase, and I know it's not great, but you have to understand from a long-term perspective, it's exactly what we needed, because now we're allowing some of these big bags to get out and allow a better entry point for people that either bought higher that can DCA or new investors to come in and have a good position. So now they can also ride that train up to the top. So that's my kind of thought process on consolidation and kind of turtling around the bottom of the market. And, you know, people think it's a bad thing, but it's not. Long term, if you look, at the end game, in the long term perspective, the price, market cap, holder count, those are all good things. I mean, it's not it's disappointing, right? Because you're like, well, you don't like to see your money go down, and trust me, I don't either. But it's okay because I understand the progression of things, and I understand crypto and how it works, and I know that sometimes you have to have extended consolidation periods in order to create a solid foundation, because when it starts to climb back up, you won't get as many big sell-offs, right? People will pull profit, but it won't be as hurtful. And even now, as we progress and people, they'll want to take their profits, it's okay because you got to look down the road and see where you're going to be at. There is no project on this planet that shoots straight up without having a massive sell-off afterwards. It's how it works. But zoomed out, you look at it, it all makes sense. Like I said, in the early on days when we were very low market cap, you look back at that now, it's like a flat line, like you can't even see any movement. But back people that were invested back in the day, June, July, August, those like they're like shark teeth, man, straight up, straight down every day. You never knew what you were gonna get. But as our market cap increases, we get a little more stability. As our circulating supply starts to deplete, the price will go up obviously, or holder counts increasing, use case rolling out. Yeah, we're all in good shape. So you can go ahead, say to Matthew, you go ahead. I gotta hop on here. I'll let you make your statement or comment or whatever, and then I gotta go.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope everybody can hear me, and hopefully I'm not in the blockchain. I just want to say again, thank you for always coming out and showing face and speaking to the community how you always do. It's amazing. King JB, always with his positive, energy towards us. It's amazing the work that he does. So many people in here, Al Falasi, from our Spanish community, the Lobos. I just want to give a shout out to them. Russ, you have people in this community that are genuine, and they've been with Saitama for a long time, and they love Saitama genuinely. I see a few of them in here: Slick, Dro, um, Tony, Okami. I mean, Sing. I see him here too. All you guys, we have such a good community. I want to ask you a question. Do you know you've created the best community there is? Do you know that?
I do. I know that because I've been in crypto for a while, and I see it every day. I see it on social medias. I see it everywhere. Everyone's constantly they're sticking up for each other and for the community, and they're growing together and bonding, and it's huge because we have such a large community. And it's not just as you mentioned, with the Spanish community, we have different almost chapters, if you will, around the world. The Spanish community, we have investors from India, we have investors from Africa, we have investors from Europe and Asia. So it's like everybody has their own kind of like clique, as you will, because of their native language. But we're all in it together. Like we all have the same goal. We all have the same drive and ambition, and that's to ride this thing out and make it, something incredible. So, but it takes everyone, and that's what makes this community so unique, is because we have so many different people and so many different walks of life. But at the end of the day, we're all here for each other, and that's what makes it so special. So, and I see it all, and it's really is incredible. I can't even tell you another community in crypto right now that is as strength and bonded as the Saitama movement.
You're right. And regarding the Spanish community, we're trying to grow it as much as we can. And I'm not leaving out, anybody else. I know we come from all walks of life. I'm just referring to these guys because we do such a good job. We have Alex Owen there. He's amazing. He has so much knowledge and, brings so much to the table regarding blockchain technology. And, we just learn so much, and we feed each other positive energy. I've been with you guys since August, and I will by far tell you it is my largest holding. Saitama, I did not sell. I haven't sold one Saitama token. I didn't sell in November. I'm not selling now. I'm not taking profits. I don't care if it's down. I don't care. I don't care what happens. FUD doesn't get to me. I know where I'm at, you guys. We're wolves. We need to act like wolves at the end of the day. We know where we're going. This thing is solid, and I say it in all my tweets. I don't know if you've noticed, a few people in here have. I'm all Saitama. Some people, that you don't diversify. I have a problem with it. I'm sorry. It's good for the people that do, you know. I wish I could, but every time I have $500, it's like, where do I put it? Okay, I want more Saitama. So it's like, it's really weird, but it's just the way it is. That's just my personal opinion. And I'm gonna say this: we are the blueprint. I will never get tired of saying it. Saitama is the blueprint. What you've created is amazing. Um, and I don't even know what to say. I want to thank you. You have given me an inspiration, a dream. In life, to be able to just make it, like a lot of us in here, financial freedom. And I'm with you 100%. Do what you have to do. I can't wait for the swap, for everything else to follow, to follow through. And I think I can speak for all of us. We love Saitama. We love you guys. Much respect. Again, thank you very much for holding the space, King JB. It's a pleasure. And that's it, Mr. Bial Falasi. I'll leave it with him. He's got his hands up. And that's all I had to say. Thank you very much.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Yeah, and all the communities out there, the Spanish community, everybody, you guys have all been super supportive, and that's what it takes to kind of build this foundation, because it's not, I can't be in a bunch of different spaces all the time. Like, if I would love to, but I would never get any work done. So we are very much dependent on people like yourself and other people in the space I see around all the time, holding Twitter spaces, holding, or sending, out, positive thoughts, and bringing each other up in Telegram and your own different communities, and creating these relationships, because we all have our hard times. We all go through tough times, and, and lose hope and lose faith. But, as long as we're there to kind of pick each other up, that's all that really matters. That's gonna be the driving, point in our success, not the tech that we're putting out, not the, all these revolutionary things that we're trying to implement into the market, but it's the community, is the unity behind it. Because if we stick together and we kind of build each other up, that there is really no room for failure, because there's always going to be success and ambition driving us forward. So as long as that mentality doesn't change, like, there is no other outcome but success for us in the future. So we appreciate it all the help and all the support and everything. So Alfasi, you got a question, man, or you want to make a comment real quick before we take off?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it's 3:10 a.m. over here